Hello. Hello, Internet. How are you? How's it going out there? Dear Internet, how's it going out there? I'm just hanging out in the bar. Hi, welcome to the How to Drink Bar. How's it going? Everybody. How's it going? It's public, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's maybe get some tunes going. Try that. I don't know. Wish we could just listen to real music. I guess I would get demonetized, though. Yo, the donut. Surprising. Never be surprised by the Spanish Inquisition, Ford Prefect. Hello, Air Jordan. Hello, Michael Whistler. Should we have some music? We probably want some music, right? Dynamic sound. I accept. I guess I gotta log in. Surprise late night? Yeah, I'll tell you why in a minute. What a great way to finish. Spending thing to wake up to. Good morning. Can't sleep? Don't need sleep. I'm beyond sleep. What do you guys think of the new setup, by the way? It's a little different here, right? It's a little different. I cleaned it up. I'm not going to keep stuff up here anymore. I got some speed rails down here that you can kind of barely see. I'm going to just put some nice decor up, you know, some lighting, a little of this action. You like it? Yeah, it's quite nice. Yeah, I'm trying to class it up around here. I wish I get some classy music to go with it. Let's see what happens here. Let's see here, my gal. Can I get the instrumental? And then is there like a copy, add to playlist, like? I don't think that's in the world right now. We should actually add that to playlist. Classy. It's already in there. Skip. Let's make sure that's in the show. I'm just like building the show as I go. There you go. A little music in there. Greg, do you like indica or sativa, or do you stay on the other side of the hops cousins? So I do ingestibles. I don't smoke. I think I'm more of a sativa guy, honestly. I generally do hybrids. You know, it's funny. I wish there was like a little better science about that stuff because I don't think that's a very good. I don't think that's a very good breakdown. Oh, my seltzer's over there. I have a feeling that it's a little bit more complicated than that. You know? I wish, like I was just saying before, I was like, I wish we could listen to like sorry, I know this is like not cool. Just like doing stuff like this. Yeah, like Tiki Exotica, that's what I really want to listen to. I have 36 tracks in HTD Live. I don't even know what I built this out of. I'll just listen to this for a while. What are we doing? Mixes. Let me just make this a little bigger so it's easier for me to read. And here we go. K-Dog loves me, marry me. I'm not a bigamist. I can't marry more than one person. Bigamist, that's polygamy, right? Yeah, I think so. You missed the buck. It's in my in another room. Exotica and Tiki make for a good chill party soundtrack. I'm into Exotica is my jam. Yeah. Hey, talking about Tiki bars. I just happened to be at 3 Dots and a Dash. It was awesome. Gonna drink some mead in a bit. Can we get some weird Tiki drinks? Yeah, definitely. Actually, I kind of want a South Side. Oh, what's in a South Side? What's in a Bronx? Off the top of my head, too. We'll ask the Internet's bartender. I should actually know the answer to this question. South Side cocktail. Am I out of sync, by the way? Because when I look at the playback of this stuff, it's like out of sync. I know it says it's in sync, but when we, yeah, maybe, I think it's a few frames out, but I don't know why it's out and I don't know how to fix it, which is weird. Grr. Bronx is gin, I'm not doing it with orange juice. And then the south side is, I don't have any mint, so I can't do it. There you go. Made a departed earlier. Huh, I don't know that one. What drinks are we making? A little low, huh? Well, like me, talking? It's probably because I'm just like not, you know, when I'm making the show, I come way up here with my energy. And you know, it's not really where I'm at when I'm live streaming. I might just crank my levels up. How's that? Is that a little better? That should be better. A few frames out of sync for Knickerbocker is the best ever. Interesting, interesting. Yeah, okay. That's better, yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, it's a much more casual kind of level here than when I'm doing the show. I just shot an episode for a sponsor. It's a whole sponsored episode. It's not, but it worked out that way. I don't usually like to do those. I usually only do a little integration. I'm sitting down. Amping up for a live stream would do you in quick. Yeah, it would. Ever tried a bourbon renewal made with rum? I don't know it off the top of my head. I don't have like this encyclopedic drink knowledge. So I was just at 3 Dots and a Dash in Chicago. That place was awesome. If you have the ability to get there, please go. And we had a phenomenal time. I could go for a goddamn tiki something right now. Ooh, I did just buy some grapefruit juice. I could do a jet pilot or a zombie. I don't have, I'm out of falernum. Olive juice or brine to use in a martini. I wouldn't. I don't like that. I don't like olive juice or brines in my martini. I have maybe a tiny, oh, wait a minute. I do have another falernum, don't I? Where did I put that bottle? That might be in the kitchen. Oh shit, where is that? Somebody sent me this stuff. It's in a weird bottle. It's a liqueur. Sometimes I wish I had a camera over here so you could see what I was up to. This is where the bottles live. So you guys got, I can't see the comments obviously, but y'all ever have any of that plantar fasciitis? Pretty sure I got that going on. I feel like I can't move. Like my left foot, the heel of my left foot hurts so freaking bad. It's unreal, man. It's unreal. Debilitating. I think I got it from traipsing around Chicago in the wrong shoes. Duh. I could be out of falernum, despite your protestations. Protestants? Protestifications? Protestaments? Where the hell is this bottle? It would probably help if I could remember the name of this stuff. Ow! It's got some weird curly cube bottle. It's a cool song. Where the fuck is this thing? Come on. Come on! You son of a bitch. Oh, that might be it right there. Is this falernum? Yeah, baby! Falernum. Hey, thank you so much for the super chat. You guys got to do that when I'm looking. Let me find my mouse. Did you hear the Violet Hour shut its doors for good? I did, but I know what the violet hour is, but I don't at the moment. It slipped me. What is the violet hour again? It was a lesbian bar, right? That'll work. Oh yeah. Boy, that's almost pimento dram or something. That's great. A Chicago cocktail bar. I need zombies and jet pilots. I have to run to the other room, I think, because I need my grapefruit juice, but I can keep talking. This is wireless. Zip-dap-doobie-doo. Oh, yeah. I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to get my grapefruit juice. Then I'll just buy because I'm lazy. And juicing your own grapefruits. It's for crazy people. Only crazy people juice their own grapefruits. Oops. Got that guy going on. Get one of these glasses, these mugs, this delicious one that just came from my Father's Day present. Carry it in a way that it won't drop and break. And sure, you can use that as a straw. Why not? We have any absinthe? Have some. I gotta make one of those anyway. Hello, I'm back. Hi. Remember me? Thoughts on government in general? It sucks. Just desperate to make it political. Let me have one drink before we get political in here. It's funny, so let me tell you the truth. You know why I'm here? I got writer's block. I got writer's block. I need to shoot something to release on Friday, ideally. And I've got all these ideas that are half formed and some are more ready to shoot than others. But like, frankly, I got writer's block. I don't know what to do. I don't know. I don't know what to do here. A non-alcoholic cocktail, I could do one of those. Well, actually, I could do one of those, but I don't know that I have the equipment to do one at the moment, actually. I kind of do. You know what you can do for a non-alcoholic cocktail? You're not going to like this answer. Oh, yeah, you know what? This was a Father's Day gift. So my wife, she apparently doesn't know what to buy me ever. And so all I get for holidays anymore, birthdays, Father's Days, whatever, are tiki mugs, which is crazy. I don't have a tiki setup or bar anywhere in my house. And I need to actually, at this point, get like a tiki room put together so that I have a place for the mugs. Perks to being a dad they don't tell you about. Yeah. It's either that or a trip to Home Depot. Sorry, somebody else was just asking me. Yeah, so I got like some writer's block. It sucks. Detroit bars are better than Chicago. Thoughts on the big beautiful bill? I can't. This is awful. I'm a child of the internet, so if you put big and beautiful next to each other, like my brain immediately goes to porn. And so like that's all I can think about that right now. Drinks that'll make you forget your planet fan. Yeah, I'm on ELDs. I don't know what that is. 5 cocktails that use Tabasco. Hey, that's a pretty good idea. Theme park. It's not bad. We want to say we love your historical episodes. I know, but I have to research them. Does Greg get more political or philosophical when he's drinking? I probably get a little less self-edited because, you know, I'm editing my brain at all times. Oh, wow, man. Rude Boy John was a long-haul driver. I thought about getting into that once when I was a young man. I thought it'd be cool. I think I'm glad I didn't get into that. All right, we're caught up a little bit. Avenue Q reference. That was? Oh, I guess. The internet is really, really great for, oh yeah, that's the Avenue Q thing, sure. A little rants and everything. Have you done a video on wine cocktails? I've done videos on wine that ends up in cocktails. I was reading my local news and review, and they have a bartender who went to the Brooklyn convention. Espresso martinis are in. Is that true? That's what I hear. It's not my jam. My local whiskey bar will put CBD in request. I don't find that CBD has any effect on me until I go to sleep. And then that's when I found out what vivid dreams meant as like a side effect of a drug. And I don't like it. Is what I found out. Like, no, those dreams are too weird and too vivid. I'd rather just go all the way and get the THC, please. Thank you. I'm gonna skip the CBD. Oh, here we go. Yep. Okay. Let's do some bar stuff here. Frontal lobe back on? You mean like my frontal lobe? Yeah, I guess it works. Have you done a video on wine cocktails? I'm trying to stay caught up here. Wait, I scrolled up, sorry. Have you ever done any content covering iconic historical modern cocktail bars outside of cocktail-specific history? Huh. Interesting question. You did? Yeah, I mean, like, all of those are cool ideas. They're not going to help me shoot tomorrow. I need, like, a fast one. I need a fast one. I also need a bottle of absinthe, please. There should be some back here. Oh, I do have a light here. I just don't have it plugged in. That's good to know, though. I can plug that in at some point in the future. Absinthe. Come on, motherfucker. I know you're back here. I need to grab my cell phone again for a flashlight. Hang on, guys. You know, when I'm back here, I can't see chat. So I know that's not good. I'm doing all the wrong things. Turning my back to the audience. Yada, yada. Oh, there we go. There's a little bottle of St. George. Yar, that's fine. That'll work. Yeah. Okay. Hi. Man, 30C. I like that. I'm back. Drinks of summer for 2025. Yeah. It's kind of the rough premise of the video I just did for a sponsor. Okay, a little absinthe in a spritz bottle. I now have to label these at some point, but of course today is not that day. A show and tell talking about the items in my setup. You could use your phone to see chat off screen. Yeah, that's a good point. Sort of. That is true. I could do that. All right, so I want to make this drink because I'm thirsty. And I want to grab. This is funny, right? So check this out. If I can find this bottle. I was just looking at it. Is that it? Yeah. 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 What? Yeah. Let's load up the old closey cams. Hey guys, by the way, hello. Oh, Cameron. Drinks you can make easily that will impress your friends. Yeah, you know what? I want an episode with one drink. That's the episode I want. I want one of the real easy ones. 2 drinks. I have an episode kind of ready to go, and every time I'm about to shoot it, I'm like, something about this, I don't feel ready for this one. It's, well, give me a second. Hi, Greg. You're just watching your YouTube shorts. Oh, hi. I have shorts, yeah. I don't know what crunk core is. You know what's funny about the shorts? Meredith cuts those. And so a lot of times I don't know what's in them. And I get comments on these shorts and I'm just like, what is she making me say? What is happening here? I've also got my phone locked up so that I can't look at the shorts. Okay? Because I use Brick because if I have access to things with like a feed, I'm in trouble. I can't look at YouTube feeds. I can't look at Instagram or TikTok. Like I just lose a lot of time. So I get comments on these shorts that I cannot then watch. You know? Yeah, I love Brick. I asked them if they would be a sponsor. They said, no, thank you. Well, actually, they didn't say anything. They just didn't respond. It's called Brick. It's called Brick. And it's like, it's pretty cheap actually, and there's no monthly payment or anything like that. And it works. How much time are you looking to fill in your next video? Nah, you were recently, so you gotta think, so this is the fun thing, right? You gotta think about what's the actual thumbnail and title that makes people click. That's the question. That's the question. So like, sure, some of that stuff sounds really good for my Patreon bar tours and just like random cocktails, because they're super fans and they're in it to win it, and they're gonna watch kind of whatever I make because that's what they're here for. Brick is an app and a device. But like for a broader audience on YouTube, like that kind of stuff doesn't really play unless there's a good title and a thumbnail. And it doesn't have to be like a super ridiculous title and thumbnail, it just has to be a good title and thumbnail. So let's get our picture-in-picture going here. I don't know that I'm all set up proper for that. Pip in. Yeah, of course I'm not. Why is this thing... It sucks, you know? Just do that. Hit on. Select. Switcher. Source would be camera 4. Done. And let's make it a little bigger. That's like ridiculously small at that size, right? And a little bit down. Isn't this fun? Building the show. Okay, there we go. Now we got some of this action down here. It's cyberpunk stories to get a genre. I mean, Neuromancer is. I'm not that well read, but I will tell you this. Do you know that Neuromancer they announced? I don't know if they announced it, but like they released it. It's a teaser. It's nothing. Pointing out that they are now in development of a Neuromancer show on Apple Plus. So check this out. This is pretty cool to me. This is Hamilton. I found this at a liquor store. His Beach Bum Berry Zombie Blend. And let me tell you what, it makes good zombies. Oh man, thank you, Lord Tuckchunka. A drink for each generation or decade, a drink for each state's signature drink, cocktails for college parties. Yeah, I kind of did that actually. Something like that many long times ago. And it's got a recipe for the zombie you should make with it on the bottle, which is good. And I make it. I make it many times. I'm gonna do that now. The bottle is a blend of rums that works up to the right stuff for a zombie, and it's 59% ABV. So got some oomph, and it does the trick. And I need a shaker because my drink mixer does not live in the bar. I should get one that will live in the bar. Now that the bar kind of functions a little bit differently, you know? I like this classy look. This is what we're doing from now on. We're doing the classy bar. I call my signature drink a zombie, but it's more of a painkiller. If each Disney character was a man, shoo, shoo, we're going back to like BuzzFeed days with that kind of an article, huh? Okay, let's get going here. Wow, the bottle on the wall tells me I need 3/4 an ounce of lime juice. This thing, check this out. I dropped my jigger and the handle broke off. So now it's the kind that doesn't have that. I barely ever use that little handle anyway, so it's fine. Yeah, look at that. Just about 3/4 from that half a lime. Just about. There you go. So I went to Chicago. It's pretty cool. Went there for a work event. I know that sounds weird. Work. Oh right, what's next on the bottle? I know this, but I keep forgetting this. And also I'm a little bit distracted right now. Grapefruit, falernum, and cinnamon. Pernod, a dash of absinthe, a dash of Ango, a spritz of absinthe. We need 3/4 of an ounce of lime. We need 2 ounces of our rum blend. And now, put that on my new speed rail. I need 1/2 ounce of falernum, 1/2 ounce of grapefruit, and 1/2 ounce of my cinnamon syrup, which is right here. So it's funny, I spoke too soon. Crew updated their corks, so they're made out of a single piece. But somehow they don't let quite enough air escape, and when you push them down, they have a tendency to become a spring and try to push themselves back out. So there you go. 1/2 ounce of cinnamon syrup. half an ounce of falernum, which this is pretty good falernum, not gonna lie. This song, does anybody remember Dave Attell's Insomniac? This song makes me think of that show. I loved Insomniac. Ugh, the show was so good. They overfilled this bottle a lot. Half an ounce of grapefruit juice. Yeah, right? Insomniac was so good. I don't know the timeline on that. Like, I guess Insomniac was on the air at the same time as, like, one of the earlier, what's his name? You know, the other guy. The guy that people actually liked, who wasn't Dave Attell. I think a lot about those early 2000 shows. Yeah. I think about what I call Fever Dream TV. That's like sort of a rant I would love to do on the show at some point. Because I think there was like kind of a cocaine-fueled wild west of television in the 90s up through like the early 2000s. And it got sort of extended because of the mandate to go to HD. So there was a period of time way back when basically all these channels just absolutely needed HD content. And if you had something that was shot in HD, you could probably get it on the air. There was some weird shit. I'm not a guy who cares about art criticism at all, but I caught this show called Brian Sewell's, I think it was Brian Sewell. He's like a somewhat infamous British art critic. His World Tour, it was called. It was the funniest thing I ever saw in my life, and I guarantee it only existed because it was HD. Like, that's it. It was shown on like HD Net was the channel or whatever. Anyway. Drake is producing it. Drake, like from Degrassi? Remember when Tom Green was popular? He's got a YouTube channel where he just like hangs out on his farm and stuff. He seems like a cool guy. I should see if I can get him on the show. Actually, I should see if I can get Tom Green on the show. I love Tom Green. When you were 14, you discovered the scrambled cable channels could be descrambled by switching on and off the PlayStation adapter. Cinemax was formative. Hear that. Hear that. Let's pour this in here. Oh, let's do it the other way so it shows up in the close-up, right? Because we're on the close-up. You can see that in the show. Yeah. It's got a tiny little opening. A zombie. Cheers. Where did this one come from? This came from Tiki Land Traders. My wife got it for me for Father's Day. Yeah, it's beauty, right? Oi, oi, cheers to that. Let me scroll up a little here. The crime scene cleaner on the Insomniac app. Yeah, I know. I also remember them driving around the middle of the night hunting nutria in New Orleans because, like, I think it was New Orleans. Maybe it was like Baton Rouge or something like that. It's somewhere down south. But, like, I guess nutria are a real problem in some places down south. And so they just drive around all night hunting nutria, which I thought was fascinating. Just like shooting at like from a truck. You know, it's plinking them. Go kill a bunch of nutria. I think I was interviewed for Real Sex once, but I don't really remember it. I was pretty drunk. Remember HBO's Real Sex? That I lament. I am annoyed about that. I am really annoyed that these streaming services claim to be like everything we've ever had made available. And then it's not. It's not. Go ahead and try to watch Cat House. Go ahead and try to watch Real Sex. HBO sucks. Let me tell you something, LW. Every lady's husband loved that show. Yeah, where's the smut? Meredith and I lament this all the time. She doesn't want to talk about it on the podcast because she tells me her mom listens to the podcast. But I was like, we should just review old, like, late night HBO shows and stuff. Yes, thank you. It is a good mug. My wife's got good taste. She picked out a good one. I needed one like this too. It's beauty. It's beauty. I keep saying that. My God. But yeah, I mean, like, it's pisses me off. Well, 70s sexploitation movies, yeah. I mean, like, that's my jam, man. I'm into that stuff. I love the streaming service, Night Flight Plus. And in fact, I want Midnight Local to be the official Night Flight Plus podcast. But do you listen to podcasts? I don't have time. I mean, I listen to the Brian Lair show every day while I'm working. Cup the hand. I can't decide if I want to stand or sit. Oh my God, Room Raiders. I kind of do remember that now. Yes, that was like an MTV show, I think, right? You know what's funny, actually? My first gig in post-production, I was a tape logger on Engaged and Underage. That was my first post-production gig. What's my favorite B-52 album? It's the first B-52s, the first album. If you like an aged agricole, cinnamon, and falernum, you should try the Baron Samedi. I will try that at some point. Pimp My Ride, yeah. I just think that, like, there was a time when... So what happened... Okay, here's what's interesting to me. When they first invented television, it actually was kind of anything goes. Like, you could get stuff on TV that you really couldn't get away with a few years later. And then the broadcast network stuff got kind of sanitized, and eventually they opened up the UHF band, the ultra high frequency bands, and that was a crazy place. Like, it was anything goes on ultra UHF. It was still local, but like that's where you get. I think it was like, for example, the Robin Quivers? No, not Robin Quivers. Robin Bird? Might have been Robin Bird. I forget her name, but like, might have been Robin Bird. But it was like a late night talk show where she would just like bring in people off of 42nd Street in the 70s and be like, so how's pimping? like it was crazy. Robin Sparkles, it might have been Robin Sparkles, yeah. And then cable came in and like the UHF shit moved to cable, right? And then cable got sanitized and you know what I mean? Like it just kept pushing to the next frontier. And then like YouTube became UHF. And then sometimes I wonder, like, where is it now? Where's the next UHF? Chris Gethard. What about Chris Gethard? You just mentioned, oh, for public access, yeah. I was never a fan of the Chris Gethard show. It's just my jam. MILF Manor is less edgy of these smut adjacent shows. All right, I'll check that one out. I don't know about that. Yeah, Robin Quivers. Oh, shit. I think it's Robin Bird. Now I gotta look her up. Show. The Robin Bird Show, BYRD. A former pornographic film actress and the host of The Robin Bird Show, which has appeared Wow, she can't identify her birth parents because of a sealed birth and adoption record. Jeez. I didn't. That's just like the first thing that shows up on her wiki. She was in Debbie Does Dallas, for example. Guest showing on a leased access show called Hot Legs. Bird changed the name to the Robin Bird Show. Broadcast on Channel J in New York City. What the hell? I guess that was cable, actually. That's funny. Each episode features Bird in her trademark black crochet bikini. On an all-red set with large heart-shaped neon sign that bears the name of her. I need a large heart-shaped neon sign that says the Robin Bird Show on it. I need a neon sign on here. Anyway. Actually, I think the first place to get cable was in Alaska, if I'm not mistaken. I know that sounds crazy, but if I'm not mistaken, why aren't you working? Did my like keyboard stop functioning? What the hell? What the frickin' do? Come on, baby. Oh yeah, my keyboard is fucked. Oh, might need new batteries. It like just died. Whatever, we don't have a keyboard anymore. Adult Swim sucks now. You need a keyboard from the top shelf. That well stuff just doesn't do it. I have some top shelf keyboards, Jonathan. At least I have some middle upper shelf keyboards. What's up, original name? Man just got turned into Rick from Big Mouth. Oh, there's a Rick on Big Mouth. Oh, okay. Just hopped in. You ever heard of a cocktail mixer called Super Sour? Super Sour? No, I never heard of that one. What keyboards do you have? I buy Keychron stuff. I don't know. I have a fancy Keychron. I have a couple of fancy Keychrons, but I like the one I have, the one that I use every day. That's right. Space Ghost first dropped on Toonami. There was no Adult Swim yet. Adult Swim came later. Did you ever watch Top Gear? No, I never did. I don't know. What did it air on? Like, I just didn't have access to it, and I wasn't like a car guy in that way. Too many cooks, yeah. That might have been the last cool thing on Adult Swim. You ever watch Garth Marenghi's Dark Place? It was like the greatest TV show ever made. Thank you, Lil Crispy. What do you want me to rant about next? Because I'm all out of rants at the moment. I never saw that show Soap, but yes, it was ahead of its time, I'm aware. More tiki history? Okay. Make drinks that represent the best New Jersey-based movies? How would I thumbnail drinks that represent the best New Jersey-based movie? The filmography of Russ Meyer, interesting. Can we talk about how awful most movies are? Now, Look Around You, I don't know that one. I'm not playing any games at the moment. What's our fearless leader sipping on? It's a jet pilot. And I don't know why, it's just like, maybe my cinnamon syrup came out wrong or something. Like, they're coming out wrong. Firearms, no, I'm not a fan. Raul Bartender, hello. You got a big check mark next to your name. I don't know what that means, but I gather you're an important fella. I'm sorry. I always find it interesting that you and Babish began around the same concept, how to make food and drink. No, that's not how that happened, actually. That's actually not what happened. We didn't both start around that concept, actually. If you look at my earliest episodes, that's not what I was doing. I kind of pivoted when it started working for him, to be honest. I thought, oh, that's a neat idea. Maybe I could try that. Hello, Technagosi. Oh, thank you so much. Shadowrun is getting set to do a Kickstarter for... I never played Shadowrun. I don't need fantasy races in my cyberpunk. I think it's weird. I don't get it. I don't get it. Gotta play the algo. The drinks that'll make you fight your dad. What is... Oh, man. So physically the most expensive drink I can make? I can make a Pappy Old Fashioned. That's probably the most expensive drink I can make. If I did like a split base, I might have a Mezcal that's a little pricey. Yeah, I could do like a Pappy and Mezcal something, but it'd be weird. Are you a liberal? To some. I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to put that in that voice. I just think that's a weird choice. I support a broad social safety net. I don't feel like that should be a no Foursquare. I don't think I have any Foursquare on hand, no. My favorite 50s sci-fi flick, specifically 50s? Oof, man, I can't think of any. Actually, do I have any plans to sell pre-prohibition grenadine? Yes. Well, plans is very developed sounding. We're working on it. We're working on it. Rum of choice for a jet pilot. Well, that's a great question. The rum of choice for a jet pilot, for me, would be Hamilton's Zombie Blend, because it's like already done. Thoughts on pure art versus selling out? Oh, much like patriotism, I think that the concept of pure art is a scam. Wow, this drink is strong. Anybody ever seen Paths of Glory? That movie's really good. You should see Paths of Glory. My favorite line in that movie, patriotism, the last holdout for the scoundrels. No, I mean, pure art versus being a sellout. I think there's a lot of space between those two places. A lot of space between those two, right? Like, yeah, pure art, I'll say this, I think pure art is not real. I think that pure art is bullshit. I don't buy into it at all. In fact, my wife and I were just in Chicago, and we went to the Chicago Institute of the Art because there were some really cool paintings there that I wanted to see. This is really weird. Swarat, the pointillist, something about his paintings really connects with me. I don't know. Not all of them. I don't like the one, he did some seascapes that really just draw me in. Whatever. But I was thinking about this, and I was like, you know, you walk through all the ancient, like, Roman and Greek art. Every fucking one of these fucking sculptures is a masterpiece. That glassware is a masterpiece. Like, every single one of these things is, like, the most perfect thing you've ever seen. And you don't know anything about the artists who made them. Because I think that, like, for the Romans, it was just like, oh, yeah, the statue factory? Go down there and order yourself a Neptune. Like, you need a Neptune? Go get one. They'll have a crew of guys work that up for you in a minute. And it'll be incredible. Michelangelo does one fucking David, and everybody freaks out about it. Well, that's because of the Renaissance. I was thinking about this, and I don't know if other people have written about this, but I feel like what the Renaissance actually brought was the era of patronage. The era of patronage. And so what actually the art is in the era of patronage is the art of being an artist, which is, of course, what I'm not even really a particular big fan of him, but the Factory, white hair, Andy Warhol was talking about with the 15 Minutes of Fame, and about, like, the idea of identity being the art. The fame is the art. And, like, the purpose of patronage was like, oh, you own Leonardo? I own Michelangelo. He only works for me. He's my guy. I own him. I'm a real fancy boy. And that becomes the era of, like, the art collecting, art fetishizing, artist fetishizing and chasing. It's really just a bunch of fucking fame whoring when you get right down to it. And so, like, basically, I think from the Renaissance forward, the concept of pure art is dead. I don't think it exists. I think it's over. I think it's like butterfly wings. It's been touched, it's over, it's gone. Nothing is pure anymore. Everything is not for itself, right? Like it's for me. It's for me. It's for making me. It's for like. Anyway, most old art is really about worship. Yeah, and that's partially because like in ye olden days, and by that I mean like the sword and sandal days, the Bronze Age, money was concentrated into the religious institutions, right? Counterpoint, community theater. Nah, sorry, Zach. Community theater is all about being a big deal in community theater. Most expensive alcohol I've gotten to drink. I don't know. It's a good question. It's one of these bourbons over here. People can't paint for shit nowadays. Ooh, let's not say that, Dominic. We're headed towards an age of illiteracy. I don't know about that. I don't think so. Literally illiteracy? I don't buy that. Thoughts on fine cigars and tobacciana? I'm not into cigars. Sword and sorcery genre thoughts. I'm not sure I have thoughts. I don't know. What thoughts could one have? I'm a museum curator. All right, I'm gonna put you on point. And so like, here's the thing. When I walk around the like contemporary art wings of museums and I just see like, well, there's somebody who knew somebody. There's somebody who knew somebody. There's a person who partied with the right people. There's a person who had the right friends. There's a person who was born into wealth. Like, I don't think, I hate this. I mean, this is awful. I'm very dismissive of it. I think it's utter bullshit. It is, it is the worst kind of, it is the worst kind of just like, I want to be important and I have no fucking useful skills, but my daddy knew somebody. Sorry. Do you think art can be separated from the artist? No, I don't. I think actually you need to own that there's an evil place in you. I don't know anything about lost prophets or what's wrong with them, but I think that you need to own that whatever darkness is in lost prophets person, welling up and bubbling to the surface in their art, like it's connecting with some likewise darkness in you. And I think you just have to own that and just say mea culpa and love what you love. I don't think you can separate. I think that's a cop-out. You can't separate the art from the artist. I love the films of Roman Polanski. I love them. They're great movies. And that guy sucks. The guy is a fucking creepy fucking pedophile. And I don't know. There must be some kind of an evil in me. I don't know if it's the same evil. I don't think it's the same evil. But there must be some kind of an evil in me that is responding to whatever is receptive to that. I gotta own that. If I go around saying you gotta separate the art from the artist, why? I don't buy that. I don't want to absolve myself of my villainy. People do still listen to Ye. Can we please just call him Kanye? I never listened to Kanye. I have a hard time identifying any of the songs. MJ is a bad dude. Goes all, yeah. I don't know anything about Lost Prophets. When Netflix is asking its creators to add in more bits where they're saying out loud what they're doing on screen for the people who are doing other things and that while they're watching. Oh, I didn't know about that. That's interesting. What's the most? I don't have very expensive rums, actually. I'm not big on that. Roman Polanski, great director, terrible person. Sure. That's how I feel about Marilyn Manson. What is the heaviest style of music you listen to? It is a blow. It's a ceramic thing. The heaviest style, isn't that subjective? What is the heaviest music you listen to? I don't really listen to a lot of heavy music anymore. I listen to some. Wagner was one of the most influential composers. Unfortunately, he's also a horrible anti-Semite. Oh yeah, a lot of those anti-Semites. This happens to be a zombie. Isn't all human experience subjective? College cocktail budget builds. Speaking of art, how do you feel about Fallout New Vegas? I like Fallout New Vegas. What are your thoughts on jazz? I like jazz. Most of the great authors out there were actually terrible people. Most people are actually terrible people. How comfortable is that tail as a handle? It's really comfortable, and I shouldn't be using it as a handle. It's not meant for that, but like my hand wants to use it as a handle, and in fact, I now want to have coffee mugs that have this handle on it. This is the perfect handle. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Arch Spectre. Hello, welcome. A drink for Independence Day. I don't know what to do with that. I've done like the goofy Patriot cocktails in the past. I don't know. This is so stupid, but like, eh. I don't want to do it. No, the texture is delightful. It's a lovely texture. I love it. I just want to massage it all the time. Plans for the 4th? Not really yet. We're finding out if my in-laws have a pool or not. Those will be my plans. Craft drinks on a budget. I don't know. Why are we drinking? Because we can. We are a grown-up. We can do what we want. Any cocktails made by the Romans? Going back up here. No, actually, no. People will try to spin it that they had like things like Posca, which was basically honey sweetened vinegar. But like spirits as a thing didn't really exist back then. So, hey, thank you so much, Neo Celestia. You're off to bed. Good night, Mr. Tiki Fish. Mr. Tiki Fish. Mr. Tiki Fish. Here comes Mr. Tiki Fish. What would... it's a zombie. A zombie. What is it, drink or food that brings you the most happiness or reminds you of a special time in your life? I don't know. What is your favorite item that's in the bar so far? I don't know. Well, personally, the Rolleiflex, I loved taking pictures on this. I haven't in a minute, but I do love taking pictures on it. This globe was my grandmother's. She used it to mark all the places she'd traveled. It's not real old. I mean, it's old now, I guess, but it wasn't like she had it for 50 years. She just did it one day, but it was one of the things I took when she died. This actually might be the most important artifact in the house for me. It was also my grandmother's, and I obsessed over it. It was on a windowsill for 60 years or something like that, and I took that when she died. Yeah, it works. Absolutely works. I might even be filming it. No, I did finally finish that roll. I have a bunch of rolls sitting around that I just haven't gotten around to developing. Have I ever made my own gin? I did an episode on it, and it was terrible. Gins are overpriced. Well, Ford's gin? Yeah, Ford's, that's what I like. How many versions have there been of this set? That's a great question. Where did the phone come from? eBay. I bought a lot of old phones, and this is one of them. It doesn't do anything. It's not hooked up to anything at the moment. So, sorry, that was a good question though. Have I ever made my own mead? Yes, I did an episode on it. We did all the meads in Skyrim. How many versions have there been? So there was the living room at my apartment in Manhattan. That was the first version. Then we rented a studio in Hoboken for 2 rounds of shooting because we used to shoot that way. So that's the second version. Although since it was built twice, you could say there was really 3 versions there. Then we got to use YouTube's studio once, and that would be a 4th version. I feel like we probably had to have at least 1 other shoot or 2 other shoots in between there. And then eventually, this was built at my old rental where we moved out of the city, and then it moved to the house now. Although I could say also that it's now another version because literally yesterday and today, these 2 wings were angled in much more sharply and I widened them out. So technically it's a different space now. Is there a difference to Italian gins? I don't know. What's in that decanter? I don't know. Honestly, just some whiskey, nothing important. This decanter has the 500 bottles in it though. So, the Miami Vice poolside episode, yeah, I mean, that episode sucked. We only did that because Luxardo wanted to do something, and they had a few bucks, but not like enough. Like if we had actually rented a studio for it, we would have lost money on it, so. So I was like, what if we did it by the pool? It'd be free. Do you have a favorite book or book series? The Widen set looks great. Thank you. My favorite book, like singular, is probably Red Harvest. Actually, I've read that several times. What was that? This happens to be a printing of the Maltese Falcon. No, that camera's not turned on, but yeah, I like Hammett a lot. It's actually funny, I was thinking about doing an episode on Dashiell Hammett, and I was just like looking into him and Lillian Hellman, and maybe, I don't know. Did a girl eat the ice and put it back? What the fuck? Do you ever think brandy and cognac cocktails will come into popularity? I think that they had their opportunity to do so, and it was a few years ago. How do you make zero sugar alcohol like Coke Zero and Jack? What? Well, first off, thank you very much. Secondly, two different questions there. So zero sugar, like Coke Zero, you use things that don't use sugar. You use sugar alternatives, basically. Darcy O'Neill, Art of Drink, has a whole bunch of content on doing sugar-free simple syrups, basically, that you can make sugar-free drinks from. I have not pursued it because, frankly, I don't care about sugar-free stuff. I just don't. Jack Daniels, that shouldn't have any sugar in it. Oh, like a Coke Zero and Jack. Oh, now I understand. Like a Coke Zero and Jack is a sugar-free cocktail. Yeah, so, I mean, that's the answer, is to go over to Art of Drink and learn how to do zero sugar stuff. Oh my God, a Lillian Hellman episode. Yeah, I mean, she's an interesting person. She didn't make any friends, I'll tell you that. That's interesting. Have you ever read any Victor Hugo? No. High Note, cool. Good note, Timbo, because I'll be down there in the coming months and I will check out the High Note. That sounds like a good plan. I just booked a house and I'm pumped about going. Do you have a favorite film stock? Oh, man. Wow. I shot a lot of Tri-X. Kodachrome. Kodachrome. I'm a simple man. Oh, God. Ilford. HF5? HP5? It was an Ilford black and white that I liked a lot, but it's been a minute. Current fixation. I've been to New Orleans, but not in a long time. I need to go back. It's an exceedingly long drive. You're welcome, Slando. Hey! Oh, you know what's funny? Don't take my Kodachrome away. I had a friend who thought it was Coat of Chrome, and it was about his dad taking away his car, because he had no idea that Kodachrome was a kind of film stock. Oh man, thank you, Ian. Loved my show for years. What's the most expensive bottle? My most expensive bottle beside the old Fitz. It's this. People keep asking me this. I don't know why. Are we into this right now? Expensive bottles? This is Pappy Van Winkle. Boop. It's not the real fancy one. It's the 15. It's like the 24 is the one that Bourdain made famous, honestly. I think it's hella overrated. But also, I'm not like the biggest bourbon connoisseur. Quat de Chrome. How do you feel about Lagavulin? I feel like it's a very one-note scotch. But I think that if you like big peaty, I'm a Speyside guy, to be honest, which is like a little bit in between. If you like super peated scotches, I think that it's a really good, it'll do that for you. It's funny, I have a bottle of Blue Label that came out the other day because a friend of mine asked me for an Irish whiskey and I thought I'd surprise her and see if she likes scotch. She liked it. And I gotta say, Blue Label is kind of a joke, but like, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It has like just like the right amount of leather and smoke for me, where it's like not, that's what it is. Like it's got a little bit more character than that. So I I kind of like Blue Label, but I do like a Glenfiddich. I'm not a Scotch genius at all, but I do think that I like the Space ID stuff a bit. Lafroig, I have a Lafroig here maybe. Well, I think Scotch Mist is a thing, actually. I don't know, Lafroig 10. If you ever make it to Baltimore, you should come out Baltimore Spirit Epic Rye. Cool. Hey, are you guys members of my Patreon? You should be. I have to pitch my Patreon. If I live stream, we have to talk about my Patreon. I'm feeling a little lazy, so this is going to be a lazy pitch. What I'm going to tell you is this. We're going to do some low effort pitching now. Guys, YouTube revenue is not my friend. It imploded. In fact, I am having conversations with Google about this to see if that's supposed to happen or not. And without Patreon, How to Drink dies. And it's just the name of the game anymore. Patreon, you will find our private Discord, which is a super duper duper cool community where our mods are awesome and they are organizing Christmas in July Secret Santa and also Christmas at Christmas Secret Santa. And I just made them do up a drink by committee for me for a possible episode that I'm kind of skirting around. You're gonna get access to the show without ads. You're gonna get access to some like extended content, behind the scenes stuff, secret drinks, that kind of thing occasionally. You're gonna get access to the HTD app, which I'm very proud of, and you can get that at htdapp.com. It is web-based. My phone, I'm so lazy. I'm so lazy. Look, all right, here's what it does. Here's what it does, look. Okay, here we go. We got the overhead, right? You go to HTD app. This is probably upside down for you now, right? You log in with your Patreon. Allow. Boop, boop. There it is. So I got to turn it this way so you can actually see it. All right. And I think I'm still talking, right? Okay. You go to drinks, episodes, or camera. If you go to drinks, I should clear all my filters because you're going to see nothing. I like this. This is on the mobile. I like the carousel mode. And look, you can see like two versions of the 1860s old fashioned. So you can scroll through both versions right there. Go back to drinks. You can pick like if you want the stuff I made for 1984. There it is, the Victory Gin Martini, clear all. You can search by tags. You could search by ingredients. You could of course search by the name of the thing. You can also keep your favorites. So if I add this stupid drink I made for Mario to my favorites, and then I hit just faves, you'll see it's right there, as are some other drinks that I've saved as favorites. You can connect a drink to its episode and then pick the other drinks from that episode. You can go back to drinks. You can go back to home and go search by episodes instead. There they all are, every episode of the show. You can go back to home, and this is the real thing that I'm working on. Check this out. Okay, cool. This is what we're gonna do. This is a cool experiment. Let's see what it tells me I can make. So this is a proof of concept thing, but there is like a next version of this coming. So hang on. Watch this. Lime there. Okay, you guys watching? I'm only gonna do this once now. We hit our camera. Can we see that? Does that look good? Hit the camera. Can you see that? Let's switch our focus up. Okay. Get this picture. Even though it's upside down, it shouldn't matter. Look at that. It tells me I can make a Mai Tai or maybe a Jungle Bird. And then I could say, I have all of that plus cream of coconut. Tell me all drinks I can make Oh, now we can do painkillers too. Isn't that cool? So I know that that's not much. And why would you need that? Well, right now, what that's cool for is like you could walk into your friend's house and take a picture of the bar cart and know exactly what you can make. The goal though, and I literally just have to just sit down and do the coding, I haven't had a chance to do it yet, is to use that so that you can build out a inventory of ingredients like boop, like that, and just have them all be in your drink library. And so you get that as a member of my Patreon. So, and thank you, by the way, Buddy Fryer. You've seen plenty of stuff made by professionals that work worse than this. Thank you so much. I did it myself with some help from the internet. Thank you. And also with a lot of help from our Discord too. There's a HTD App development channel in the Discord, and I've gotten a lot of help in there too. Users cannot put their own recipes in. Right now it is meant to navigate the show and use the show as your cocktail guide. You can save your favorites. I am interested in the idea of letting you add recipes. That creates a lot of other questions. Right now I'm more interested in rolling out some other features, and actually maybe even some community features. I said that we just did a whole, I had the Discord build a drink by committee. And I think the idea of incorporating that into the app as like a monthly thing that happens inside the app would be kind of fun. You have an inventory like 100 bottles. Yeah, exactly, Irby. I'm looking at 500 bottles and I can just bloop, take a picture of it. So I just have to add the inventory system to it when I get like a week to do that. And then I won't sleep. I'll have to just not sleep all week to do that because that's how it happens. Greg's faves filter. Yeah, I think we have a tag in the tag field for my faves and Meredith's faves, actually. That's a really good point. It is important that we do that, obviously. I think we have that going on. Meredith is working on like the data refinement side. I'm working on the actual like interface and programming side. A lot of the data refinement has been automated recently by some stuff that I did. We smartened it up a little bit. I was trying to smarten it a little further the other day, but I got hung up on it and it wasn't working right, and I ended up not getting a bunch of other stuff done that I wanted to do. One-click buy on Curiata. Yeah, integrating it with Curiata. That feels a little evil. It did cross my mind because I am evil, and I love Curiata. I am friends with Curiata. I don't want to piss people off. Oh my God, Isaac the Manipulator is getting blocked. If I can figure it out. Why do you think I'm a drunk? That's so funny to me. Just say AI and wave your hands and investments will fly your way. Yeah, but fans will fly the other way. All right, I don't know how to, I can't figure out how to block this jackass. So it's a funny thing. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna leave you here. I'm gonna tell you something. Get that affiliate money. Yeah, well, I mean, it's a good deal, right? Like, I think that, I've thought about, this is an episode I've thought about doing, how to work with sponsors, but we'll come back to that in a minute. Anyway, if you love the show, do please check out my Patreon. It makes it all go round, and I hope that we are providing all of the things that make it worthwhile for you. If we're not, let me know what is missing and that you would want. Let me go back to, I missed some super duper chats. Can you tell Meredith I love her? She's amazing. Nerd account, she already knows. Shout out to Dennis and Mighty Thias for keeping the Discord ship shape. And in Bristol fashion. Yes, Robert Time. In Bristol fashion. Yes. Thank you, and I agree, yes. Lil Bay, you so enjoy when I go live. Oh, thank you. That one guy, thank you very much, by the way, everybody, for the tips. Do you plan on making more movie game? Yes, I do. I absolutely do, but I'm planning on doing them with soft drinks, actually, because I think it's more fun to do that right now, and I do have a soft drink laboratory that I'm looking at over there that currently is piled with shit, and I don't have a camera pointing at it. But yes, I want to do more soft drink stuff over in that world. Lagavulin 18, some person says, who loves Danzig, but as seen through the lens of the Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Thank you. And then we're caught back up because the next one is about the expensive bottles. Okay. Why is it manipulative? I don't know what's manipulative. So like sometimes I get weird comments from people who are like, Greg, look at this drunk on the internet, still standing there on the internet. That's another video I want to do, by the way. It's called, Is Alcohol Good for You? No. And the premise is you're allowed to do things that are bad for you. I don't know if anybody ever told you that. You don't have to be a saint. You can be a normal human. So here's the thing. There are two possibilities if people think I have a drinking problem. One, they also thought that their teachers lived under their desks at school, and they don't realize that an episode of How to Drink takes me all of an hour and a half to shoot, and I might shoot, I wish I could do more, but if I shoot 2 in a week, it's a miracle at this point. I shoot about 1 a week. I would like to shoot more than 2 a week, but I guess some people assume that like, man, every time I see this guy, he's drinking. Like, well, yes, that is true. Every time you see me, I am drinking. Yes. I think you've figured out the theme of the show here, guys. Every time I see my math teacher, she's teaching math. Please go to AI. Is this real? Are there like multiple people like showing up with this right now? That is hilarious. I don't know how, why can't I? Oh wait, there we go. I could, I don't give a shit. You guys can fucking do your weird shit. The other possibility is that you don't know any real drunks. You don't know what an alcoholic actually looks like. And that concerns me, which is why I don't want to block you necessarily. I think that like, it's fortunate for you that you weren't around them, honestly. Because I did, I grew up around an alcoholic, like a very serious alcoholic, my father, who died of alcoholism related situation, not very long ago, just a couple months ago. And I think that like, it's great for you that you don't know what an alcoholic looks like, but I feel like somebody should educate you on this, maybe. Alcoholics, for example, don't have bottles of alcohol, okay? They have vessels that transport alcohol temporarily. They're empty. No alcoholic has a collection of alcohol. Oh, thank you guys. Don't worry about it. I mean, I do appreciate that. It's a weird thing. It's a lot. I don't know. On the one hand, it's like, yeah, we knew that was coming. On the other hand, it's like, you know, there's like something to process there. Anyway, I'm not getting choked up. I just, sometimes things go down a little square. So, yeah, I don't drink as much as people think I do. I always joke that like, I drink a lot less than you think I do and probably a lot more than I think I do. But I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you, you know. I think that like, oh, I missed your nerd account question. Oh, hold on, I'm sorry. Love watching your, that's not you, is it? Nerd account? Shit, man. I don't know if I can find it, nerd account. Can you run it again? Because I don't see if, oh wait, no. Oh no, no, there was no question. You said, can you tell Meredith that I love her? She's amazing. Yeah, I acknowledge that. She knows that you love her and she's amazing. But I will tell her that, thank you. Silver Bullet, unless there was something else, nerd account, I'm gonna watch for like, I'm gonna look like a hawk for a minute here. Okay, it was a different question before that, fuck. Oh yeah, the Matrix episodes. I only did 2 of those and they were a huge mistake. I'll never do those again. That one, oh, well, was it how do you make 0 sugar alcohol? I did answer that, nerd account. I told you, you gotta go to Darcy O'Neill. You gotta go to Art of Drink because he does a whole bunch of stuff with 0 sugar syrups and making 0 sugar sodas. The idea for you to have a drink must be smashed and admit you are powerless and life is unmanageable. Don't be in denial. You are powerless and life is unmanageable. means nothing. It all means nothing. Ethical nihilism for the masses. And then we die. And God doesn't exist. And if he does, he doesn't love you. Okay. But please hang out and continue to just continue to feed my engagement. It's great. So allulose was the best zero sugar sweetener out there. Yeah, except some people have allulose intolerance. So Magic Spoon uses allulose. And there's an ad read I did for Magic Spoon where I'm eating Magic Spoon and talking through it. And some people thought it was funny. And some people were like, I am unsubscribing. This is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. I got so sick after that because I ate like 7 bowls of it in a row. And I found out that allulose and me don't really agree with each other, even though, you know, a bowl is fine. But I ate a ton of shooting that and I felt like shit. So. Yes, either God can't stop bad things from happening or he doesn't want to stop bad things from happening. In another case, fuck him. On all nations, welcome here except for Carrie. I tip my hat to you, sir. I tip my hat. All things in moderation. Well, like, that's the thing, right? Like, I feel like my mom used to always give my dad a hard time about, like, he's just a self-medicating a-hole. He's self-medicating. And it's like, yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of what life is. Like, every day, everybody gets up and they gives themselves the medicine that works well for them. For some people, it's having a drink. For some people, it's smoking weed. For some people, it's exercise. For some people, they're workaholics. For some people, it's travel. For some people, it's literature. Everybody needs a little medicine to get through this life. For some people, it's their sense of superiority and, you know, power to them. But yeah, that's what it is, man. That's what life is. Okay, I'm drinking a regional whiskey. Do you like regional bourbon? Painted bourbon whiskey in North Dakota. I mean, sure, that sounds really cool. I don't have access to it. Nerd account. You, by the way, are a big spender, and I love you. Thank you so much. That's true. And for some people, there is no moderation. I don't know. Do I like regional bourbon? Yeah, I think that's awesome. I probably do have a couple, actually. I don't know painted bourbon. I don't have that one. That's right. For some people, there is no moderation. That's right. And so everything is a medicine. For some people, it's the wrong medicine. If this is not the right medicine for you, please don't watch my channel because I don't want to be responsible for that. It really makes me very uncomfortable. I know people who are in recovery, and honestly, I feel weird about being around them because I don't want to fuck them up, and I am a shining beacon of drinking. So I feel weird about that relationship. Oh, I know many non-drinkers who watch the channel. That's different than someone in recovery. Lots of people choose not to drink, that's fine. Some people are in recovery, that's a different situation. I feel like if you're watching my channel and you're in recovery, you're playing with fire. It's similar to how I feel about like non-alcoholic cocktails for people who can't drink. It's like, why are we playing the I'm not touching you game right now, man? I think you're doing really good and I want you to have the best time. I don't know. I don't know Tommy's. I'm sorry. What cameras am I using? These are Lumix GH5S's, which are pretty ancient these days. And the lenses are Rokinon Primes because the Lumix line of cameras, at least until very recently, had absolutely useless autofocus. And so everything is a manual focus prime on here. That's why I snort Smarties. Everyone responds to different stimuli differently. Just because some people respond to alcohol poorly doesn't mean the hobby of drinking is evil. Having differences is fine and everyone should be respected. I think that's true. I think that's right. Thoughts on the greatest Coors documentary, Smokey and the Bandit? I love Smokey and the Bandit, and you just reminded me that Meredith and I have to do it on the show because that movie fucking kicks ass. Decaf Kofi. I'm a little behind the stream. I wanted to add something important to my great uncle taught me. Everything in moderation, including moderation. Yeah, we have a family friend who's a doctor, and that's what he says. And that man drinks like a fucking fish. I can't keep up with him. Everything in moderation, including moderation. Yes, I will see you now. It's almost like a stereotype. Do you like Boilermakers? Not really. No, I don't drink shots. It doesn't really do it for me. Going on? This is so crazy. I'm being brigaded. I'm being brigaded by the Temperance League. Be gone, foul beasts. This is amazing. Whoa, it was $100 super chat? Oh, $100 Mexican dollars, yes. And thank you, by the way, very much. I didn't know there were raids on YouTube. That's cool. I wonder what channel the power of Christ compels you to drink more wine. I wonder what raid they're coming from. What channel are you guys raiding from? That's so cool. I love it. Greg is uncomfortable. Greg is not uncomfortable. Greg is really comfortable. Do we have any mods? No. I just go stream when I want. Here, watch. We'll just get rid of them because they're getting lame. Bye, Miss Tree. If I can figure out how to click. Why aren't you bastard? There. Ah! Don't lose your car and bank account. It's not worth it. This is the weird thing, right? So so first off, I gather people, this is so funny to me. So people don't know how little I drink when I can't block. I am powerless because my freaking screen is being weird. Maybe if I exit full screen or something, I'm not worried about it. No, I'm not a Bible thumper, that's true. I'm an atheist. Yeah, exactly, Jonathan. See, so that's actually one of those things where I have to be extra careful because if you look up the definition of an addiction, it is, because it's like, believe it or not, there are casual users of heroin out there. You don't hear about them very often, but they do exist. Recreational heroin users. If you look up the definition of an addiction, it's not, it's really specific. It has to be. You have to be consuming your vice when it would be inadvantageous for you to do so. Like when it's a bad idea for you to do so. Like you're drinking at work. You're drinking on your way to work. You're drinking and driving. That would be bad. Like, you're missing if it's impacting your life in a negative way, that's an addiction. The problem with that is I make a living by drinking. And so I'm actually extra careful about that stuff. Because I have accidentally sidestepped that whole definition. We will never do healthy cocktails because there's nothing healthy about cocktails. They're fucking bad for you. You can be an alcoholic with no impact, and I'm not an alcoholic. Greg, please drink my Lord. It's the Lord's drink. It's the blood of Jesus. At least it made me say Jesus Christ. I love that. Living is inherently bad for one's health. That's an interesting note, yeah. I did finish this drink. Yeah, I could not drink those whole drinks when I'm on the show. I can't. I'm a human being. I'm a human being. No, not from Visky. Visky does do a very limited amount of tiki mugs, like one. Do you have any mix? Well, I don't know anything about rice whiskey. I apologize. I appreciate your $5, but I have no answer for that question at all. I'm sorry. Is hibiki rice-based? I didn't even know that. Any recommendation for a crowd-pleasing drink to batch and take to the beach in a dispenser cooler? Oh, for the beach? Oh, well, the problem is that, like, I want you to have, like, an Aperol Spritz, but if you put it in a dispenser cooler, like, it's going to decarbonate and stuff. That's going to suck. If you can transport something like a Spritz, like a low-proof bitter aperitif, that would be my way to go. But that's going to be hard to do at the beach in a cooler, unless you, like, pre-bottle them or something. Honestly, I don't know, man. I think about the beach, like, if it was, I want a long drink at the beach. I want something fizzy and light and not too sweet at the beach because of the sun and the heat and all that. Like, I would feel sick if it was too heavy. Tiki drinks are best enjoyed in a basement. I don't know. That's a tough one. Like margaritas. Margaritas. I would do a picture. Yeah, I would do margaritas. That's just, I made that so much more complicated than it had to be. Daiquiris would be an option too. Reading down. Hey, Greg, I've been doing home infusions, cucumber, lime, and white rum. Ooh, what are your favorite infusions? I don't do many. However, I did do this in the Spinzall. Where did I put that little bottle? Is it over there? It's around here somewhere. Hang on. I made fig-infused rum, and it's so fucking delicious. There it is. I have very little left, and I love it because the Spinzall made it super duper duper crystal clear. It's gorgeous. It doesn't look that clear right there, but if I shoot a light through it, oh, I can't. That's all screwy. Anyway, yeah, it looks clear. You can. Delicious, unbelievable. Fig rum, so good, so good. That would probably be a good answer for that question. I'm resisting the urge to put things up here. Nothing goes up there anymore. Those are the rules. Those are displays, not cluttered disasters. Am I still being brigaded? Thank you, Justin James, very much. My Costco doesn't sell any alcohol. An alcoholic without a sponsor is like Dracula in charge of the blood bank. I will for you. We say you'll see. Oh my, I'm going to do this with all of them. This is going to be so much fun. Thank you. You've just made my stream so much more entertaining. Come on, where's the next one? Thank you, Nancy Hooligan. Thank you. I don't even play Star Citizen anymore. I wish Nancy's making alcoholism sound rad. I wish. Can I get an amen in the chat? Baby Billy Freeman. By the time I'm done paying my scientists, my lab monkeys, my distributors, I make nothing. Not 1 cent. So why do you do it, Baby Billy? Because I'm so selfless. Greg's casual joy is infectious. Thank you. I hope to be. Then why do you do it? Seems to be my cup. My cup is empty. And you know what? You know what? I think I'm gonna have a Mai Tai. just for all the beautiful people who are in this chat right now. I think, Jesus, I feel it. I feel it coming on. Oh, hallelujah, hallelujah. I feel the radiating, Lord, coming through me. Jesus H. Christ wants me. He wants me 1 time, 2 times. He wants me 3 times to have a Mai Tai. That's what I'm gonna do. Hallelujah. Okay. Let's rinse out our shaker. Greg will not be having 3 Mai Tais. And the viewer numbers plummet. Really? I don't think so. No, we have 400 people watching. That's pretty good for 12:30 in the morning. Ooh, you've never had a Mai Tai. Oh, well, a Mai Tai. I'll read this to you the way I read the pigeon has a hot dog to my kid. If you've never had a Mai Tai, let me tell you, a Mai Tai is the most scrumptious flavor explosion that a person can... Wait a minute! This is my Mai Tai. I found it fair and square. Okay. If you're a parent, you know. So I was using a particularly aged rum for this. Ooh, but you'll be fine, won't you? Eldorado 12 year. And we want something in the persuasion of an agricola. An agricole rum. Holy rum. God. Holy rollers, man. You guys are fun. Show up some more. Hallelujah. Have you ever considered a career switch to a Baptist evangelical TV preaching? Could you moonlight it? I would love to. That would be great because they don't pay taxes. That would be the best. I would love that job. Sure. I can say words. Greg has quickly lost it over the past half an hour. No, my friend, it's taken 40 years. Did anybody enjoy the reference to the pigeon has a hot dog? Did I scare them away? I think maybe my last bit of preaching. Oh, and thank you, Little B. Thank you very much for the Canadian $10, where I hope to be a citizen soon. Again, a citizen again. I think I did actually scare away the Jesus-y peeps. Not that I have anything against Jesus. Well, I was going to say, not that I have anything against Jesus specifically, but... The Eldorado 12 is yummy. Goddamned right. Hey, I got hit in the head with a wrench yesterday. It hurts. It hurts. You'd have a drink with Jesus? I don't think he'd be a cool guy to drink with. I think he'd be real angry. I also don't think he existed personally. I'm in the camp of, like, you know, it's Thoth. Jesus is Thoth. But, that's 1 ounce of lime juice. Where is my orgy? It should be orgy. Let's go 3/4 of an ounce. Aren't there Roman records? No, there's not. There's no contemporary records about the guy until about 300 years after he died. 3/4 of an ounce of orgeat. And 1/2 ounce of curacao. We also don't exist. You know where I'm getting that orgeat from? If you listen to Cab Calloway, he talks about being all reet. Record keeping was really solid back then, actually. It's shocking how many records we have. 1/2 ounce of a agricole. It's kind of the back way trick into this. And most likely 17 separate individuals mashed into one. I buy that. You can meet Christians without there being a Christ. Early Christian Gnosticism posited that the Christ figure was like a Platonic ideal of what a human should aspire to be, it is at the Diet of Olives that Constantine decides that what if he was a real flesh and blood person? Wouldn't that be a lot easier to sell to these fucking masses over here? Anyway, I'm gonna add another 1.5 ounces of this 12-year-old rum here. Gnosticism is a thing. Not agnosticism, but Gnosticism, as in I have the secret knowledge, whereas the agnostic says there is no secret knowledge. There's nothing, there's no secrets. It is what you see. I don't think there's anything going on around here. No, I did 1.5 ounces. I poured them both into the same jigger. So she was a red hot hoochie coocher, Minnie the Moocher. I did 1/2 ounce of the agricole in the jigger, and then I did 1.5 ounces on top, which filled it to 2 ounces and poured it in. An agnostic is open to things. Yes, if God pulls the clouds apart and says, hey, Greg, I exist, and my neurologist tells me, no, you didn't have an event, I, as an agnostic, will admit that God exists. And I shall repent my sinful ways. Or I guess actually in that circumstance, just become a prophet. But otherwise, an agnostic and an atheist has literally nothing to separate them. We're the same. You bought a beer crafting kit. What should you make? You should make Obama's honey beer. Sounds weird. Good money in being a prophet. There might be. What is a dad joke? When is a dad joke a dad joke? When it becomes apparent. When does it become apparent? At the delivery. Oh my God, dude. That is the most meta of dad jokes around. I love that. Thank you. Thank you very much, Danzig. Somehow we can connect your dad joke to mother now, but I'm not capable at the moment. Mother, tell your children not to look my way and my words, what they mean, what they say. Mother! If you want to find hell with me. I have to know where to buy that pufferfish mug. I Googled and nothing is quite the same. Well, this is from Tiki Land Trading Company and my wife. She bought it for me. Danzig was beefy. I believe he remains beefy. Okay, let me catch back up here because I definitely missed some super chats. First off, Nerd Account. Nerd Account, thank you. You are a beast with the wallet. We need more people like you in this world. Did I miss anybody else? Oh man, what do you say when someone says dark liquor makes me mean? Is that all BS? Just don't be mean. I don't know. I don't know if it's all BS. BS. I used to think that, okay, so here's a fun thing. I still think that like essential oils is BS. Like, oh, this essential oil can heal my rheumatism or my depression or whatever. I do think that's all BS, except I was looking into why do some people have extreme paranoia and like bad ideas when they enjoy weed? Because my wife enjoys the cannabidiol, but sometimes she has a bad response. And so I was looking into that one night, trying to figure out if there was anything I could do about that. And what I found out was that there's been a couple of studies now that say that if your THC content is mixed 2-to-1 with D-limonene, which is a terpene that will appear in some, cannabis plants, but nowhere near 2-to-1. That means for every milligram of THC, there's a 0.5 milligram of D-limonene. You're never going to get to that in nature. And I don't think I have it here, but I made some that's like that. Anyway, I was just looking to see. That it reduced significantly across all participants' experiences of anxiety. And we have been testing that in our two-person laboratory, and so far, that has proven to be accurate. So I must now confess that essential oils, which contain largely terpenes, if they happen to be of a citrus variety, may have some neurological or medical effects. There you go. Trying to catch back up. Oh, and so brown spirits, essential oils? Yeah, maybe. Or maybe brown spirits make them drink more. Maybe they'll just like them more and they get drinkier. Maybe they're just assholes when they drink. Maybe they don't like clear spirits and therefore they drink less. I don't know. If someone says that they're going to be mean when X happens, don't be around them when X happens. Oof. God, I love a Mai Tai. That's my drink. I love Cab Calloway so much. So here's a fun thing about Cab Calloway. We were just watching, me and my kid. I have a soft spot for classic Disney films. And my Lord, we were watching Dumbo, which is a really interesting movie because Dumbo was filmed during the strike at Disney, and Disney actually left the country. Well, he went to Hawaii on a vacation to get away from the strike and let other people handle all of that. And some of the tensions about the strike work their way into Dumbo, for sure. But Dumbo's an interesting movie to me, socio-politically, because there's a question about, is it racist? Is it racist? I have read, I can't figure out the answer to this question, and obviously are there bots here again? Oh, wow, Lady Roxy. Rarely have we seen oh, thank you for still being here. Hold on, I have to do this. Rarely have we seen a person fail who have followed our path. Those who do not recover are those incapable of being honest. These are such unfortunates that before God they must fall upon their knees and beg forgiveness in the eyes of the Almighty. So help me God, amen. Pass the collection plate. Anyway, sorry, I missed that. Is Tintin racist? No. Okay, so what are your opinions on Cuban rum? I can't get it. I need to go to Canada and get myself some. Okay, so that's it, right? The movie itself is not racist, but the crows might have been. So I have read accounts from both directions on this. In fact, I have just read a blog post from the Jim Crow Museum that said, hell no, those crows aren't racist. And here's always been my thought about it. The crows are the coolest guys in the movie. They're fucking cool. If there's anybody in that movie that you want to hang out with, it's the crows. Now, what might be racist is that one of them is voiced by a white performer. The other 3 crows are voiced by black performers, one of which is James Baskins. Is it James? I think it is, who was in Song of the South. And then the other one is, and I forget his name, he performed in the live-action television version of Amos and Andy. And I don't know the third black performer. So that's an interesting question, right? Is that racist? Just having a white person do the black voice, which I think we can call it that, right? Now, certainly. Then, I don't know. I mean, certainly those other 3 guys didn't mind working with him, right? The other thing, too, is that like animated blackface? Maybe. I mean, there's also a very strong, it's an accurate argument too, that Mickey Mouse is blackface. Mickey Mouse is a minstrel character, as is Minnie. I mean, like the kind of antics, the stylization and everything like that come from that, right? Come from that. That doesn't mean that Mickey Mouse is blackface, right? So anyway, it's an interesting question. I just read, like, you know, and these are film historians, both white and black, who are on both sides of this aisle. I think this was in the Jim Crow Museum blog post. And truly, I don't know the writer's ethnicity, but I think that they were black. Pointing out, and I agree with this, that the crows are father figures to Dumbo. The only other outcasts in this are crows in this story. And they take Dumbo under their wing and show him his power and help him learn how to, like, they are like the father figure. They are the heroes of the story. They lift Dumbo up and rescue him from his oppressors. I don't know. I mean, maybe there were mistakes made with the crows. Initially, the lead crow's name was Jim. In 1953, in a re-release, they renamed him to Dandy. So, like, oop, my bad, we fucked up there. So I think that's an interesting question, right? Then I also read an account that said that the roustabouts are black in the movie. All of the roustabouts are black. I don't know that that's true. You only see them in silhouette. You only see them in the dark. The guys, you only see... Jim Crow is intentional. No question that that's intentional. I don't know what the connotation was in the mind of the animator / writer who named him Jim Crow. Right? Like, was he just like, I mean, for all I know, he was drinking with his black friends after work. Like, that's funny, right? Like, yeah, that's funny. I don't know. You know, at that time, at that place, I have no idea. I do find it hard to believe that he wrote that and was like, that'll get him. You know, like, that doesn't add up to me, but maybe. The Japanophobic traders at the beginning. Oh, you're talking about Star Wars over there. So I don't, I like that idea that they are outcasts from society, like Dumbo, who recognize a kindred soul in Dumbo and lift him up. You know, they help him realize his own power. It's hard for me to see the crows, who are Dumbo's savior in this, as being a negative, racist stereotype. They are definitely a caricature, as are all of the characters in this. Every character in Dumbo, and in fact, all animation, is caricature. So, I don't know. It's an interesting question. Oh, this is a Mai Tai today. And it's a very lovely Mai Tai indeed. Well, then that's another interesting question. First off, I don't know. Oh, and here's an anti-racist thing for you. What is Dumbo's flaw? What is Dumbo's flaw? His big fucking ears. What kind of elephants have big ears, guys? Where's Dumbo's dad? Is Dumbo an outcast because he's got big ears? Or is Dumbo an outcast because he's mixed race? And I'm not joking. I had that thought for a second, and then I found other people making that connection online. And I looked into it. Dumbo is based on a short story that was written by the person who then adapted that short story into the film. The short story was never actually published. It's a weird thing. So long story short, we can't really dive back into what their thinking was. You had that thought? I had that thought. I had that thought. I was like, yeah, that's an interesting... That could be, right? Anyway. I mean, like, the attitudes of the four other the old hen elephants strike me as very fucking busybody fucking picket fence white lady racists. Anyway. That's my own, I wonder about that. So I don't know. I don't know. That's all. I think it's an interesting question. We should do it on the pod. We should do Dumbo on the pod. I think that'd be a cool one. There's a lot of interesting history around it. It's headcanon. I'll allow that. I don't even know if it is headcanon. Aren't a bunch of Disney movies just stolen short stories? No, he paid for all that shit. They paid for all of that. They had copyright back then. He didn't steal anything. Oh, which questions does he actually see? Well, I mean, sometimes I'm talking, man, and I gotta like actually get my words out. I can't just like get distracted every second. Oh, could you use your Southern preacher voice to say what we have here is a failure to communicate? Yes, I can, Silver Bullet, but I'll just do it like in the movie. What we have here is a failure to communicate. Jonathan C. makes his tithe. Thank you. Now, some man... What was it? Now, some men want to make trouble for themselves. They can't help it. So what we have here is a failure to communicate. So, he gets the box. Now, you other fellas want to make trouble for yourselves? I don't know. I'm kind of riffing now. I forget exactly what that was. I miss Cuban rum. Yes, I've had a little Cuban rum. It's fine. It's okay. It's coffee still rum typically, but I'm sure that there's a lot other. Anyway. Yeah, George Lucas is not, I don't know, Newt Gunray after Ronald Reagan and Newt Gingrich. I know. It's a fact. It is true. Excusing the pun, but what ingredients would you add to a Mai Tai to make it into a Mai Tai? I think I don't know where it is, but I have a bottle. There's like a thing called Thai Spirit. I don't think it has any real historical authenticity to it. Oh my God, did I just happen to stumble straight into it? Unbelievable. Mekong. I can't believe I found this bottle that easily. So I don't know the history of Mekong, but it is a Thai product. It is the spirit of Thailand. It's neutral spirits distilled 95% cane and 5% rice with herbs and spices and caramel. Established in 1941. So I would use this, and now it's a Mai Tai. Putting an is it racist lens is an interesting reason to go back and look at the classics. I think so too, but I also think that, like, I don't know. I'm of two minds on this, and I want to, like, live streams are fun for me because I can actually get into nuance here. I don't feel like, weirdly, in edited formats, I feel weird about trying to get into nuanced positions because I can't respond in real time. I can't see where I'm failing to communicate in real time and respond to that. In a live stream, I can have this conversation. I am of two minds about the whole, like, we should or shouldn't judge people by their own times thing. I think that, I was thinking about this today while I was driving. I think that we should judge people by their own times, but we should take their advice in our time. Like, of our own times. Anyway. Sorry about that. What's the most minds you've been of at once? Oh, several. Worrying about contextual racism in classic media is stupid. Just don't be racist now. Well, I agree. I agree and I disagree. I agree and I disagree. I don't know. Is acknowledging stereotypes racist? Is Blazing Saddles racist? No. Blazing Saddles is definitively anti-racist because the whole function of... Oh, I see what you're saying. Sorry. You're acknowledging... Well, no, because it's reacting to the stereotypes perpetrated by racists and blowing them up. That is the function of Blazing Saddles. Hey, Greg. Thanks for leaving in the Sabat reference. It was a good analogy to a radically different perspective to the baseline. Thank you. I appreciate that, Scotty, and I do appreciate your $5. Thank you very much. Can I keep the drink camera on? I don't actually. Thank you for reminding me that it is on. I'm gonna turn it off. Where are all the white women at? Yes. Also, I found out I've been using anti-racist incorrectly. I found this out years ago, so I shouldn't say anti-racist, actually. Apparently anti-racist means something way different from not racist. So I should not use that term. If I had a dime every time I thought about Blazing Saddles, I'd have a shitload of dimes. Yep. I did hear they're making a Spaceballs too. I didn't like Spaceballs. Taking people in their own time can be difficult because we don't often have the full context of how popular opinion can be expressed in a work was past a certain point. That's a heady concept. Akoi Music, thank you very much. I think I fixed my Google nonsense. Pride was muted there. Pride was muted there. Year, any weird, vibrant, floral, fun additions to gay and tonics, gin and tonics, I mean gay and tonics, you've been drinking. Including fun or fruit gin, have pride longer in the glass. I'm gonna parse that one more time. Here we go. Woo, baby. You're not supposed to drink the bong water. I think I fixed my Google nonsense. Okay, I understand. You were having a hard time doing a super chat. Now we've got it working. Thank you. That's great. And thank you, by the way. Pride was muted there this year. Pride was muted this year. Any weird, vibrant, floral, fun additions to gay and tonics? Gin and tonics? I mean gay and tonics? Okay, including fun or fruit gin. Okay. Fruited gin and tonics. Okay. I love Mel Brooks, but Spaceballs just never landed for me. Probably, I don't know. I should revisit it as an adult. Okay, so he did voice to chat. Oh yeah, maybe. Wow, you guys do that? That's crazy. So the thing about a gin and tonic is that the tonic is such a dominant flavor. I don't know what else you would work in there. I mean, without diluting the, so, okay. We get into this weird thing, right? Like where so many drinks are called a martini, but then when you look at their final ABV, they're like a bajillion miles from martini because you added a bunch of low proof liqueurs or fruit juices or syrups, etc., etc. So how would I make a fruited gin and tonic? Well, I might make my own tonic water, and I might make it by like doing an extract. Like this is really weird, but like if I wanted a passion fruit gin and tonic, I would probably do a high potency extract of cinchona bark and add it in a safe way to something like passion fruit syrup, and then I would make that would turn into a passion fruit tonic syrup, and I would use that to make a passion fruit gin and tonic. Other than that, yes, a flavored gin is a really good way to go. If you don't mind getting away from the proofy, punchy solidness of a gin and tonic, then you can kind of do whatever you want in terms of ideas. I think that I would go with muddled fruit. I think I would do muddled fruit. If I was gonna do a gin and tonic, oh, that's what I would do. I would do a strawberry gin and tonic by muddling strawberries with my gin and my lime, and I would shake those, and then I would pour those over a rock into a glass and top with tonic. That's what I would do, that kind of a thing. That's how I would do it, yeah. As far as a floral gin and tonic, it's difficult to get flowery flavors into something like on the fly like that. In my opinion, actually in my experience, I just haven't really played with it that much. But like, yeah, you could totally, I think you could totally do some Saint Germain in a gin and tonic, yeah. Cucumber lime, sure, that's a great example. Rose water gin and tonic. I kind of hate rose water, but orange blossom water I could see. I would stay away from slow gin. I don't like slow gin. That's true though, you could throw away the gin entirely. You could. You could do a cachaça and tonic, and then now you're, I mean, that's a fun idea, kind of. I got a fruited gin and tonic. It has Hendrick's Flora Adora. That's a funny name. Strawberry and pomegranate flavors and ginger beer. It's not a gin and tonic, but anyway, I call it a rose thorn tonic. It sounds really good, Kimberly. Thank you, and thank you for the $10. I appreciate that. Obviously I appreciate that. Did I miss any other scooper chats? I might have to take a 5-second pee break. Just scrolling back up on the soups. Yeah, I gotta pee break, I think. Otherwise we're gonna have a problem here. I've got to take a pee break. And to do that, I'm gonna check that my mic is muted. I'm switching the mute on, so you don't have to hear me pee. I'll be right back. 5 seconds at your age. Excuse you, James. High levels. There we go. So here's the problem. I thought I was gonna solve my writer's block here with you guys, and I haven't. What are we doing? Are we gonna address my writer's block? You know what's funny? I was thinking about the righteous gemstones, but my brain said the mighty gemstones. And that made me think of the mighty boss tones. And then I thought of the mighty, mighty gemstones. And then I thought of, because I was in the bathroom, I'll never had to drink of the devil's pills, but I know someone. I hate the rain. Gem in the holograms, beauty. Have you tried combining a Moscow Mule with a Bloody Mary, ginger? Yes, I probably have. Cherry episode is in the works. Drink the Devil's Blood is a great song by Deathspell Omega. Why not do a world tour of cocktails? Yeah, but I need something I can shoot and edit tomorrow. The Boss Towns put out a George Floyd album, and it's terrible. I don't know why. I just think that, like, we tried to do this very lovely thing and we sucked at it. It's extremely funny to me. Remember how the Misfits burned down an orphanage in, like, the second episode of Gem and the Holograms? I do not remember that. That's awesome. What exactly is Gem? Gem is a girl whose dead father had a very special supercomputer that turns her into Gem and the Holograms, a superhero band? I don't know. What cocktail goes with the holiday barbecue? Beer. You got some beer. I would think that it was better than Brad Paisley, LL Cool J's Accidental Racist song. What? What song is that? Jam Bean. You seem like the kind of man who's going to see Weird Al this month. No, I'm not. I have seen Weird Al, and I actually worked for Weird Al once. What's the funkiest rum you own? I don't know that I own the funkiest of rums, to be honest. I kind of wish I did. The next episode is a glass of ranch. No, thank you. It is live, D. Hoffman. D. Hoffman, we're live! Ray and Nephew. You think Ray and Nephew is super funky? I think that, yeah, I mean, Ray and Nephew is pretty funky, honestly. You're probably right. The coffee tequila Negroni at Disney. Oh, that's neat. We'll do it live! Fuck it! Fuck it! We'll do it live! Fuck it! No! Go! Who knew that man was a little unstable, huh? Who knew? Who knew? Hamilton Jamaican Pot Still Black is something else. Worthy Park? I think Hamilton Jamaica, I think that's Worthy Park. Hey Greg, if you had a signature cocktail at the Afterlife and Cyberpunk 27, what would it consist of and how would it be prepared? Oh, that's such a cool idea. I'm gonna revisit that in a minute. Dirtman is my favorite country song, even though it's short and funny. It is short, funny, and not country also. At all. He's wearing a cowboy hat. It's not a country song. Idea for a show. Wisconsin is the drunkest state in the U.S. A special show on Wisconsin made alcohols. Spotted Cow Beer, Death's Door Gin, etc. What about Uneasy Rider? The song by Charlie Daniels? Isn't that a Charlie Daniels song? Movies today don't grab me as much as movies back then. I need something neat and rich. What old movies do you recommend with a drink, Saul the Dreamer? Wow. First off, thank you for the 20 bucks, and let's get into that. Let's talk all about your problem with movies today not grabbing you. Why don't they grab you? Why don't they, Saul? So first off, I think any movie can be enjoyed with a drink, and I like a drink that doesn't need to be replenished very often for a movie, or that does not, a drink that inspires you to drink it slow. So I like a Sazerac with a movie because I can't drink one of those really fastly. One of these guys, I mean, it's still fishing around in there, but they go pretty darn quick. So as far, okay, funky rum video, hard for me because, like, again, there's limits to what I can escape. What doesn't grab me? Let's start with my wife. That's beautiful. That was great. You're Johnny on the spot, Gorilla Man. Okay, so first off, the question is, are we just old? Are movies today not grabbing you because you're old? Is that true? Because that happens. Like, the world just moves on from us and they don't make content that appeals to us anymore. And nothing is for you or me. And now things don't grab us. Is that it? Or are the movies worse? I think the movies are worse also. Old movies. You have to define old movies. What are we talking about old movies? And you want to have a drink with it? I'm going to say The Thin Man, 1934, based on The Thin Man by my favorite author, Dashiell Hammett. Howard Hawks direct that? William Dieterle? I actually don't know who the director is, but back then it didn't really matter too much. Myrna Loy and William Powell playing fabulous society detectives drinking their way through crimes and solving problems. It's a great movie, Thin Man. I love it. Have a drink and enjoy it. One of the interesting things is the change from long shots to short shots and the lack of wides with blocking. I saw a great video on Orient Express versus the new one. Yeah, I mean, like, so many things are built in the edit. That's true. I do miss the constraints of film and the scheduling around that and just like the chaos. I hate truly this kind of filmmaking where the filmmaker can control every element. I think that it is the worst kind of masturbatory. We were talking about the problems, I think, of art beginning in the Renaissance, where like you get into this idea of like patronage and art as a vehicle for the artist's fame, and that basically it's the end of all, quote, pure art. I don't know. The hyper control that modern writers and directors have over their content now kind of feels similar to me, and I don't know that I can exactly put my finger on it, but maybe you can go with me there. And it drives me crazy. I love watching an old movie and seeing someone turn on a light in the window and say, oh shit, they're shooting daylight film at night, and that, you know, like, or they're shooting, sorry, tungsten film, yeah, whatever. And so the outside is super blue, and then like the weirdness of that is just shit they had to deal with, right? Like all of those combined things, and like, we got the shot, let's move on, we'll figure it out, we'll put it in the edit. Now you can shoot everything to death, you can recolor anything you want, like there's just too much control. And I think that art, to the extent that art exists at all, is the part you can't control. It's managing chaos. I really like the weird kind of massaging of like chaotic elements that are beyond your grasp toward this end. And I think that better movies are made when that happens. I think that that's one of the things that hurts modern cinema. There's just too much control. There's just too much control. The directors have too much control over the medium. And then, you know, when you get into big budgets, there's too much control on the director. So I just think that there was something lost when budgets got too big and basically film stopped being like an expensive thing. Like, you know what I mean? To some extent, like creativity thrives when there's less resources. So there is something to be said for, okay, here's the thing I have said. I think I invented this, unless somebody else may have said this, but I feel like I said this first. Limitations necessitate refinement. A lack of limitations encourage embellishment. Art, things, the engineer's maxim always applies. A thing isn't done when there's nothing left to add, it's done when there's nothing left to take away. And in this age of more is more is more, and film is free, and we can shoot basically forever, and we can shoot 10 billion angles, and we can build it in the edit, and we're gonna come back to the point about not letting just actors talk. It's more is more is more is more. And I think that like a little bit of limitations would help. I think that then you would have refinement instead of embellishment. I hate embellishment. So like people talk about like the two-shot, it's gone. Yeah, the two-shot is dead. I don't know why that is. Just letting two actors learn their lines and play with the script in a two-shot seems to be dead. I know that's crazy. I don't feel like you see that anymore. And it makes me insane. You're excited for the How to Buy Rum episode. I did a little research on it the other day. Rover ad in my realm, such a weird voiceover. District 9 is an amazing example which needs a damn sequel. Hey Greg, have you considered or done a Pim's Cup? I did. I did a Pim's Cup many years ago. Also, I'm looking for a cocktail for that Matt Damon Odyssey movie I'm dreading. Oh, he's doing an Odyssey movie? Well, the Lotus Eater. You got to do a Lotus Eater for the Odyssey. I don't know what lotuses taste like. All right, so District 9 does not need a sequel. I agree with that. And I would also say that that director, I saw Elysium. Elysium sucked. POTUS eater. I have had it between the sheets, I think. It's also, here's a fun thing about between the sheets. First off, it's an older drink than you think. It goes back to like the 30s or something like that. Secondly, there's a pun there, maybe. So, do you know where the expression 3 sheets to the wind comes from? Do you know what a sheet is? So the sheet is the line that controls the trim of your sail. So in a Bermuda-rigged sloop, which is what you imagine when you picture a sailboat with like a triangle sail up front and a big triangle in the back, you have a main sheet that controls the trim of the main sail, mainsail, and then actually you have, basically working on a lazy sheet on your head sail, your jib, and 1 or 2 is working, right? When your sheet is to the wind, your sheet is untied and unfurled, it is out of control. Your ship, you've lost control of that sheet. So if you have 3 sheets to the wind, you have no control over your sails at all. You're in total danger zone. So is between the sheets a sailing reference? Or is it a reference to the old horizontal mambo? It's interesting stuff. I don't know. Well, Greek lotuses are onions. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Lotus root tastes like jicama. Is it jicama or jicama? I've always heard it actually jicama, which is weird, but I don't know. Neil is good at cinematography, and I wish he would have. You're talking about Neil Blomkamp? I don't know anything he cinematographized. You want to break your writer's block? Relax, finish your drink, go to bed, and let your subconscious work. Stress is the enemy. Stress is the enemy, Emerald Baron. A lot of pressure to finish production really fast. If you only... No, but that's the thing. I think there used to be more pressure to finish production fast. There used to be more pressure to finish production fast, and you had to get it in the camera. That's why it used to be like, okay, you actors, learn your lines. I have 1 angle on this. There was like an interview with Woody Allen years ago, and somebody had asked him like, why do you, maybe it was at a Q&A session or something like that, why do you do so much work in just a 2-shot without cuts? Like, why do you work like that? Why do you just like do long takes where actors just talk? And he's like, because I want to go home. I want to go home. At some point, I want to call it a day at like 6 o'clock at night and call it a day and go home and stop working. And and like filmmaking has changed since film became free. I want to be a drunken sailor. More drunken sailor facts. You ready for this? Okay, check it out. Put him in the bed with the captain's daughter. Put him in the bed with the captain's daughter. Put him in the bed with the captain's daughter early in the morning. Do you know what the captain's daughter was? The captain's daughter was the cannon, and it was being bent over the cannon and flogged with a cat o' nine tails. It's not... Find a pretty girl and make him fuck her. Find a pretty girl and make him fuck her. Find a pretty girl and make him fuck her early in the morning. That's what we do with a drunken sailor. That's what we do with a drunken sailor. That's what we do with a drunken sailor early in the morning. Anyway, this is unhinged. Put him in the bilge and make him drink it. Shave his belly with a rusty razor. What's the other ones I'm trying to think about? Put him in the bed with the captain's daughter. Those are the only 3 I can think of. You need to contact Jim Lapbap. So happy you clicked into this. Bob! Boba fueled. Not Bob, you're Boba fueled. Fueled by Boba. I'm glad you clicked into this too. Welcome to the crazy zone. He's about to go full Greg. If true art is born from constraint, then arguably cocktails should have been better long ago than today. I disagree with this. I don't know that cocktails used to be constrained. The only time in which they were constrained, I think, was Prohibition. I think, if anything, cocktails are embellished to hell. And it's only in the modern era that we've started to kind of dial things back. But I guess, are cocktails art? I don't know. Is this art? I think it is, actually. I do. It's funny, I was just talking to my wife about this. I was like, how would we do cocktails as an exhibit at the MoMA? That is a goal I have. I have a goal. I want to get cocktails into the Museum of Modern Art because I think they are the quintessential American modern art with jazz. And maybe we need a museum of the American cocktail or of the cocktail, which is an American creation. What does that look like? I don't know. I think it's a very experiential thing. You have to have the drink. You have to have the drink. You can't just talk about the drink. The drink has to be there. Somebody has to make it for you. Tenet was an original and unique movie. Why didn't it succeed? I liked its vision. It didn't succeed because that guy sucks. That's why it didn't succeed. Is this an NSA audit? I'm just like scrolling up and I'm so confused. Okay, so it is jicama. Okay, good to know. Jicama. Have I watched 3 Sheets? Maybe. Learning with Greg feels like an NPC will fight you tooth and nail. An NPC. You will fight tooth and nail for. Okay, got it. Tenet was deeply stupid. Tenet was deeply stupid. If your movie needs a follow-up YouTube videos to explain to people, it's not a good movie. You've actually talked about how jazz and cocktails are two American. I would love a deep dive into that and why they are, how they influence each other. Well, my God, how they influence each other. Woo! I mean, so first off, we mostly celebrate. Okay. Actually, I think I have his book right here. Yes, here it is. Tom Bullock, The Ideal Bartender. Proof point 1. So, sorry, what's his name? I am a little tipsy. This book is the Jerry Thomas, thank you. Jerry Thomas Bartender's Guide is celebrated as the first bartender's guide, and it probably is, but it's also worth noting that Jerry Thomas was white. Tom Bullock, of course, wrote The Ideal Bartender, and he was black. And this 1917 was the first African-American to publish a guide of bartending. That's not to say that African-Americans weren't bartending. In fact, they were bartending a lot. They just weren't publishing books. In fact, bartender was one of the professions that freedmen could have before the end of slavery, before emancipation, and be respected in. Why? I don't understand the mind of the antebellum Southerner entirely. My understanding is that there was something in the service-oriented nature of it that was it was an appealing place for a genteel Southerner to encounter a freed black man who was working for him for $1. There was something about it that made him feel good about his station, about the system upon which he profited, and about seeing like, see, some men can free themselves and do very well by it. Similarly, barbering was also another place where freedmen could make a good living. Until the end of Prohibition, until the emancipation, at that point, for the most part, employment of any kind was regarded as a deep threat to the post-antebellum, the bellum. Well, if antebellum, yeah, the bellum, I guess. Antebellum before, then you're just bellum, the bellum Southerner. So for a long time, there were many black bartenders that we basically know nothing about. So there is a strong argument in my mind that bartending may have been a black art form, as was jazz. And so I don't know that you can separate the two. They are both improvisational art forms. Ante is post. It is? Antediluvian? Okay. I don't think racist people understand they are racist. Yeah, that's probably true. I think that's probably true. Bellum means war, antebellum, pre-war. Ante is, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, ante, right. Okay, so the post-bellum. Thank you guys for helping me out there. That's good. I didn't know that antebellum meant pre-war. Mediabellum, postabellum. Okay, fun. So yeah, I think that there's, first off, there's that. I think that the fact that they are improvisational, probably black art forms from America that happened in the same places, right? Not maybe originally. I don't think jazz and cocktails don't probably get mixed up until probably the 1910s or early 1900s, but then they get mixed up pretty good. And then of course you've got Prohibition, which really puts them together, because Prohibition creates the speakeasy, which breaks down socioeconomic and racial barriers, and all of a sudden now we've got, you know, honestly, wealthy flapper heiresses hanging out with, you know, wannabe writers who have holes in their shoes doing cocaine and martinis while awesome hot jazz bands are blasting their shit. So I think all of that stuff, you can't separate the two. Some people have pushed back on me on like, well, how is the cocktail an American creation? I guess it's a fair question, because punch does somewhat predate the cocktail, and although I think it was primarily popular in America, it may not have been invented in America. But punch and cocktails are different things. They are enjoyed in different ways, and they use in different ingredients. If you want to be really technical, a cocktail must involve bitters. A cocktail, particularly in the language of that time and place, was an alcoholic beverage that had bitters and sugar in it. But more to the point, a cocktail was a single serving drink to be enjoyed by a person in a speedy fashion, on demand, right? And so that's like the way that you enjoy a cocktail is part of the experience of a cocktail, as opposed to a punch, which was like a thing for wealthy people to have at a party together. And additionally to that, once you get past the cocktail and you start getting into more complicated cocktails, now you're into the realm of like the whole new money American fuck you Europe thing. And so, etymology, yeah. Well, cocks your tail. Yeah, I don't know about that. The whole thing about like the ginger in the bum of a horse to cock its tail up, I don't know about that. Or that it has something to do with a rooster who wakes you up in the morning and a cocktail was a breakfast drink, which may have been true, and the rooster cock-a-doodly crowing your thing. Or, according to New Orleans historiology, the cocktail comes from the name of the cup that they were initially served in, the cocktia, like it's an egg cup, and it means cocktia, or something like that. It's is it Spanish? Is it French? It might be French. It's French. French indie kind of thing. So, who knows? The answer is that it comes from America. And so much so that when you get towards Prohibition, the word American drink is synonymous with cocktails. If you look at cocktail guides published outside of America, they are guides on American drinks. All of these bartenders went around the world and opened the American bar in Spain, the American bar in Paris, the American bar in London, the American bar in Cuba, because they were serving American drinks. Everybody seems to understand that the cocktail was an American thing. We invented it. Europe, by and large, from what I have read, had this attitude that like, well, it was very low of you to embellish spirits. They've been sitting there in wood for years, waiting for you to enjoy them as they are. And you come along with your bitters and your sugar and your citruses and your other alcohols and think you can improve upon them? How very presumptuous of you, you fucking upstarts. And I think that, like, that is what it was. Like, there was like a new money upstart kind of fuck you Europe kind of thing with the cocktail. That's goddamn right. We're gonna take your goddamn brandy and turn it into a fucking Sazerac, you motherfuckers. Fuck you. Fuck you. So, yeah, man, cocktails. At room temperature. Have you ever made bitters of your own? No, not yet, but I want to do an episode about that. Speaking of horses, there should be a cocktail called Mr. Hands. What? Get your woke DI new money out my cognac, yank. Yes, I will do that. Lefty's Right Eye. Just joined the chat, longtime viewer, new sub. Love Midnight Local. Cocktail question. Blended scotch. Anyway, make it work with fruit-flavored liqueurs. Any way to make it work with fruit-flavored liqueurs. I mean, look, I don't, off the top of my, look, okay. You want to use liqueurs. Take any drink that calls for like a simple syrup or a sweetener and replace the liqueur with that, and then add the amount of sweetness you need on top of that, because the liqueur is not going to have the same sweetness as your simple. So take the liqueur you want to play with, find a scotch drink that calls for syrup. Put the scotch into the mixing glass. Add the liqueur that you want to play with into the scotch in the amount that the syrup would go in. Take the tip of your bar spoon and taste it. It's going to be off. Add the ice and stir it. Taste it. It's going to be off. Now add simple, I don't know, 1/8 of an ounce, 1/4 of an ounce at a time until you make up the missing sweetness that the liqueur isn't yet providing. And there, you've done it. That's it. You can do that with anything. You can do that with anything. That's my opinion. That's my own opinion. You can do that with anything. Okay, sorry. Nick Hightree for $20. Thank you, Nick, so much. You enjoyed clicking in to see me live. Thank you. I enjoyed you clicking in to see me live, too. What else have I missed here? I've missed some other things. D. Hoffman, $20. I missed that. I'm so sorry. I was just like fucking ripping. First time catching your live stream. Thanks for answering my question. You should do an episode on cocktails. I can't read this. Oh, on cocktails to order at a cocktail bar with spirits, funky liquors that we might not have in our home bars. Oh, that's a cool idea. Huh. Goonies is the best movie. Goonies is a great movie, and it holds up much better than the a lot of 80s movies do. Should you keep some simple in a dasher? No, I don't think that a dasher, like, I don't think these modern dart dashers dash enough to, enough simple to be like worth your time. I think you're probably not going to need simple in quantities smaller than a bar spoon, honestly. Which is usually 1/8 of an ounce. Okay, I think we're caught up there. Should you keep simple in a prancer? Yes. I don't know what a prancer is, but possibly. I feel like simple will leave crud in your dasher. I used to have a dasher around here that had saline solution in it, and it grew like stalactites over the years. Dashers, dashers. Hey, I got hit in the head with a wrench the other day, and my head hurts. It feels like shit. How would you, Greg, would you be willing to play a shopkeeper bartender in a small Twitch stream for a dark fantasy D&D game? Possibly. I would love to immediately say yes, because that does sound like a lot of fun, but scheduling and stuff can be a real bitch. Oh, condiment squirt bottles. Yes, those are pretty good for that. People are pretty nervous about plastic these days, so. Yeah, Greg can't dodge a ball. How did I get hit by a wrench? I'll explain. My wife pointed out that the seal around our kitchen sink was leaking and water was getting in around the sink into the cabinet underneath, which is just what I need in my life. And I was underneath the sink investigating, and I noticed that our sink was installed by assholes, and that the clips that hold it up are jury-rigged to hell, like just insanity. And I was going to loosen the screws that hold up the clips and reset them correctly. And my arms were around the drain because it's double sink, so there's two of them. And I had a little wrench up here, like an adjustable, because it's what I had. I didn't have a socket that fit. And it slipped, and my arms were locked around these pipes, and I could do nothing to stop the wrench that was coming straight at my face. That's how I got hit in the face with the wrench. And it hit me right here, and it hurts like a motherfucker. Have you done an episode on drinks at a wedding? I don't know what I would do about that. Who killed Walt Disney with a wrench? I don't know why I like that. Greg, if you want to do a live reaction video, Mr. Hands is it. It's truly horrible. I don't know what a live reaction video is. Oh, awesome. My sink was installed by assholes. I abandoned that project. Yeah, exactly. How would you balance your love for cocktails with trying to keep moderately healthy in your 40s, asking for a friend? It's a great question. What do we define as moderately healthy? I would say eat a lot of fiber. I'm big on fiber. I think if you look at like the dietary cultures of the healthiest people in the world, they seem to have a lot of fiber. American diet does not have any fucking fiber. And you will know that because if you start tracking your fiber intake like your doctor wants you to, and you're trying to hit like 30 to 35 grams of fiber a day, and and you do nothing but just start like tracking your fiber, you will find out that there is no motherfucking fiber in an American diet. None. Zero. None. None. There's no fiber. There's no fiber. So you need to get your dietary fiber. In fact, I would recommend that you get your ass some Metamucil and you do your 2 tablespoons of Metamucil every day like I do. Start there, and then try to work some beans and lentils into your diet every day. I don't care what else you eat. Try to get them in there. Eat your fruits and veg. I think that if you get enough fiber in your diet, you're pretty okay. Beans, black beans and rice, man. So good, so good. You know what? You get them toots going until you're used to it. There was like a whole thing for a minute there. I'm gonna turn off one of my cameras because its battery just died. You know the carnitarians, the carnivores on the Instagram and on the TikTok? Don't listen to them, they're fucking idiots. Those people are like, meat's bad, meat's the only thing that's good for you. Vegetables are bad for you. If fiber's so good for you, how come when I eat it, I feel gassy and bloated? It's because your body hasn't had any fiber in 10,000 years, and it is just firing up the old digestion engines. That's why. They're just turning back on for the first time in your life. You are just starting to digest. That's digestion. Give yourself a week. You'll stop farting, I promise. That was pretty much the basis of the diet in Costa Rica. Yeah, rice and beans. And, oh God, and some mahi. Get me rice, beans, and mahi every day for my life, and Americans need to eat more bran, I think you mean, and rice. A fermented apple a day. It's like the burnt smell when you turn on your heater in the winter. Yes, exactly, David. That's so good. Yes, it is like that. Metamucil is good. You'll start farting, I promise. Yes, you will. Corn, beans, and squash. I love my alcohol, but you definitely don't need to mix it with Metamucil. No, don't mix your alcohol with Metamucil. Yeah, people need fiber, man. Y'all need fiber. But it is crazy to me, man. You start actually tracking how much fiber is in your diet if you're on a Western diet, and you're like 3 grams, like nothing. I try to hit like 30 to 40 grams of fiber a day, and it's a struggle. It's a struggle. What if I don't want to stop farting? We love you. Every time I travel to Europe, I really end up missing plain water and fiber. Yeah, I think people are silly too. Like that, oh, everything in Europe is better. I hate that shit. I don't even particularly like America. I just hate, Europe does it better, America sucks. It pisses me off to no end. I don't know why. I'm just like unplugging a thing here for no reason. That should not have been unplugged, but that's okay. We'll all live. Just pissing me off. Eat your fermented foods too. I'm iffy on the fermented foods. I don't like them that much. Greg is a patriot, I guess. Sure. I love Europe, but yeah, I'm with you. Some things are awesome. Some things here are awesome. It's fine. It is fine. It's fine. The only place where I've had a bad po' boy was in Ireland. Well, I wouldn't go to Ireland and order the po' boy. SSRI cocktails next? No. A lot of the it's better in Europe is because people were relaxed on vacation and stress does a number on the body. Yep, that's a factor too. It's also a lot of people on the internet coping because they are stuck in Europe instead of in America. What's the most California cocktail? Well, it's got to have kombucha in it, for sure. It's got no alcohol. It's got kombucha. It's got artisanal, non-alcoholic, pre-blight, black walnut, American bitters, and locally sourced avocado. Do super chats equal drinks made? They have, but I've had 2 drinks and I'm good. Greg, quick stare uncomfortably into the camera. Do I look uncomfortable? I'm very comfortable. It's very random that the stream is so late while I'm at work. Where do you work, Jayfish? What do you do that's so late? Are you a security guy? I used to repossess cars. Anybody know that about me? Hey, do you know that about Greg? Greg used to be a repo man. So I used to work all night long. I hated it. Roy Rogers is yummy. Not security, though. I also worked security. Ever find the glowing trunk? No, but I do have a fun repo story for you, and I do love the movie Repo Man. Me and my partner, Frank, were repossessing a young lady's car down there in South Jersey, and she was so nice about it, and I felt terrible, and she was a college student, and you know, our strategy was we would show up at your house in the middle of the night, put your car on the tow truck, and then we would knock on your door and ask for the keys. If you had the keys, if you were willing to give us the keys, we would let you get your stuff out of the car. If you didn't, we would just take your car and all your stuff. We wanted the keys because we could only tow one car at a time. So like if we got your keys, we could tow your car to the next car, take your car off the hook, hook the next car, and then one of us would drive that other car back to the lot, and we would bring back 2 cars instead of 1. You wanted to give us the keys so you could get your stuff out of your car. So she was very nice, and she said, oh yeah, sure. I need to get my cat out of the trunk. And we were just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And it was a frozen dead cat that she had in the trunk that was for her biology class that she had to dissect. Nautical facts. Britain's Admiral Sir Cloudesley Shovel, wrecked his fleet in the middle of the Isles of Sicily, losing 5 ships and 2,000 sailors in 1707 in peacetime because, man, in 1707, charts were a bitch. So, I like that. By the way, thank you very much, Robertine. Well, you override identity by being a construct of the system. What? What truck was your tow truck? It was a... Was it an Isuzu? We called it an Eagle Claw because it wasn't an Auto Claw. Auto Claw, you just had to push the fork back and it would automatically clasp around the tires. Ours, you had to push it back and then pull another lever to close the clasps around the tires. What made you quit the repo life? Getting shot at a bunch, actually. It was a really bad job. And then a better job was offered to me. Honestly, I worked like 50 jobs in those couple of years. So I kind of forget exactly what was so enticing about said other job. But I'd had enough of repoing cars. I was like underage, so I couldn't own the contract. So I was really just I was 21, but you have to be 25. And I was getting paid $25 cash a car. And yeah, I just kind of moved on. What was the shortest job of yours? In high school, I worked 1 day at Carrabba's as a busboy, and it didn't work out. And then I guess shorter than that would be that I got hired and went through orientation to work at Bed Bath & Beyond, where I was the only person at orientation who knew what a fucking duvet cover was. And I never showed up for work because I had another gig. I forget what it was at that time. You meet the weirdest people or the scariest when you're repo. Yeah, right, Nathan. Yeah, it's a rough job, man. I worked in Salem, Atlantic City, and Trenton and Camden, New Jersey. And my part of the job was usually walking around in the middle of the night in people's yards with a mag light, trying to verify their VIN numbers. That was my main part of the gig. I was literally just like crawling around, stealing cars. I stole cars professionally. I would break into your car in seconds, like seconds. I'm very good at that. And I would pop your transmission. There's like releases on your transmission that most people don't even know about, so I can freewheel all your wheels after I verified the numbers. And then sometimes when we knew it was going to be hot, what we would do is we would line up the tow truck up the block and get our tines right off the ground and throw it into reverse, punch it, pop it into neutral, kill the engine, coast in silently, hit the tires, fire it up, close them, and run. So we used to do that once or twice. We did that move. And I got shot at 3 times, and I was held at gunpoint 1 time. So I actually made a short film about repossessing cars, but it was a very bad short film. It was fun. It was not fun. It was fun, but not fun. I was young, and I believed myself to be really invincible at that age. And so it was like, it was a perfect job for a guy in my place, at that place. When I was in that place in my life, I had just gotten discharged. I was really kind of lost. So that's what I was doing. It's a bad short film. It's called Collections. It's a love story. I worked security at boxing matches in Atlantic City. Worst car to repo is a motorcycle. I'm gonna sidestep the whole thing. So you get to a Harley and you're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? I don't have any of the right equipment to pick this up. And we wound up just like chaining it to the back of our truck. It was awful. What jobs did you have fun that didn't involve being shot at? Some of my favorite jobs would have been, I worked at a movie theater in Brooklyn Heights for a little while in college. That was a great job. I loved that job. It was super cool. It was me and Amy, and that's it. There was 2 people working in that whole movie. Well, sorry, there was a projectionist that was there some days, but not every day. And we didn't have a cash register. We had a drawer full of cash. And so you would just like make up numbers for what things cost and round it up and stuff and do the math in your head. And then I would sell all the tickets for the movies and look and see, okay, that's all the tickets. I'm gonna go to the concession stand now. I'm gonna lock up the ticket booth. If you want candies and coffee, come over here. And I would go over to the concession stand and sell the candies and the coffee and stuff like that. And then let's see, that was a good job. In high school, I worked a couple summers at Alair State Park doing park maintenance for the State Parks Department. I really liked that. It was a twin cinema in Brooklyn Heights. It's gone now. It was a Brooklyn Heights twin cinema. We showed, not art house, but like, you know, limited release kinds of movies. Saw some good stuff there, saw some terrible stuff there. You should do an episode about the crazy jobs you've had. I would love to if I could figure out how to package it. Other jobs, I worked at a pawn shop. I was the buyer at a pawn shop for a while. I managed Rita's Italian Ice for a summer. I delivered salads for Salad Works. I worked a riveter and did some wiring at a machine shop that made clean room equipment, like air cleaners and stuff like that. I also worked the sealant in there, and that shit is so fucking toxic, it's crazy. Well, the solvents we used to clean the sealant off of the stuff that you didn't want it on. I worked What else did I do? I've done so many fucking jobs. I worked at the boardwalk. That was my first job. I was a busboy in high school at a golf course. It's like the highest paying job I ever had in my life. It was 1999 and I was making $14.50 an hour. It was crazy. It was fucking crazy. Oh my God. I got fired. It was one of the few jobs I got fired from. What else did I do? I drove a tow truck for like roadside assistance as well later after I was a repo guy. Were you ever the Snap-on guy? I was never the Snap-on guy. Why did you get fired? I got fired honestly because I asked about the hours I was working being legal, and then mysteriously I got fired the next day. Think about other jobs I've had. I said I did security for boxing matches. Oh, I was a land surveyor, and I was an IATSE union stagehand in Atlantic City. It's pretty good jobs. I was an editor. I mean, like then those are all like, you know, BC, you know, AD jobs. I worked in post-production. I was an editor. I was a tape logger at one point, briefly, in the days of tape. I was a technical director who did a multi-camera live production stage show for TEDx Teen for a number of years, called tech directing or vision mixing in the UK, live directing. And I did a lot of motion graphic stuff and things like that. Before Greg, BG, yeah. Is that how you met Meredith? Which job blowed the most? That's a great question. I met Meredith at SVA, School of Visual Arts. We went to college together when I finally got around to going to college. So out of high school, all right, I graduated high school in 2001. I was touring the dorms at the Art Institute of Philadelphia when September 11th happened. I made it through one semester at the Art Institute. I joined the Army, unassigned airborne infantry. My fifth jump at airborne school went very badly sideways in what they call a catastrophic entanglement. I was unable to get my ass back onto an airplane after that and was discharged. At that point, I wound up, I guess I have PTSD. That's when I fell into repossessing cars and other such work. And I worked around. I loused around and worked around and did jobs here and there and lived in my car briefly and all kinds of fun stuff. Very briefly. I surfed couches, you know, whatever. And then my friends were going to college and probably talking about me behind my back. I did this job, I did that job. I was a land surveyor eventually, and I was working on the beach in Atlantic City in February, and I was trying to hammer a stake into the sand for a new pier to mark a piling, and the stake split sideways, and I was like, I hate working outside anymore. I want to go to college. And so I went to SVA. I applied and harassed them into letting me in. They let me in. I was old enough that I got more loans and I was able to just barely afford it. I went to the School of Visual Arts, majored in film. I got out of school. I couldn't get a job. I went back to driving a tow truck. Made no money at that. And my girlfriend was going to leave me because she was like, you are not doing, you gotta do something here, man. And I said, I'm going to marry you. And so then I became an editor, and eventually we got married, and it's great. And then I learned motion graphics, and I did some of that too. And then people want to know how I got into how to drink. I didn't pick YouTube. No, I was not a New York taxi cab driver, but I did really do a lot of research on getting my license to be one. I was never president of Zimbabwe. I never headed up a Soviet nuclear America spy or ran a meat shop in Delhi. None of those things happened to me. I never decided on YouTube. So what happened was, before all of that, after I got out of the Army, at one point in there, briefly, probably before even repossessing cars, my uncle's old college roommate, because my uncle went to like a real college, he went to Berkeley and bullshit, and his old college roommate, who both of them have passed now, was the assistant director at a place called Michael Schramm Company that made food commercials. And he knew I wanted to work in the biz, and he said, well, why don't you come up and check out the set? and I came up and I hung out, and he said, why don't you come up and hang out tomorrow? And I did that 3 days in a row, and I just tried to make myself helpful. And he was like, do you want to be a PA? And I was like, I do want to be a PA. And so I PA'd some at this place called Michael Schramm Company. My commute was 3.5 hours each way, which is pretty rough. I don't mind saying so. I didn't own a cell phone, so I had to check my answering machine to find out if I had work the next day. It was pretty crazy. And I could not make enough money to live in the city. And I couldn't understand how all these other PAs were making the same amount of money as me and living in the city. And then I found out that mom and dad were paying their bills for them. It's true though. It was 3.5 hours each day. Because I was taking the bus from New Jersey and it took for fucking ever. And then after I got off at the Port Authority, I had to take the 7 train all the way out to Queens. But it was cool because we made food commercials in slow motion, close-up, tabletop, shooting on 35mm film at 1,500 frames a second on photosonic cameras that screamed like a jet engine. It was crazy. Doing Wendy's commercials and we did Dove chocolate bar commercials, all kinds of fun stuff. And so I have been to the Museum of the Moving Image. Anyway, that was clearly going nowhere and I needed to make a real living and live on my own. So whatever, I moved on. But then I went to film school, and then I got out of film school, and then I was an editor for years, and I wasn't getting to where I wanted to in my life. And I was like, well, what do I know to do? Well, I like cocktails. That's a fun hobby. And I know kind of how tabletop cinematography and slow motion stuff works. I think I could do it a lot cheaper than a lot of other people are doing it because I don't know if I can cobble that shit together. Maybe I could do like food commercials. Maybe I can make a reel for food commercials, but I'm never gonna do anything that's just one thing at a time because it seems like a waste of time and money. I'm gonna do my reel as 7 episodes of a YouTube show about cocktails. And I'll show off that I can do food commercials cheap. Well, truth be told, I didn't know what to do with that reel, if it were one ever. And I uploaded those episodes and I told myself, if I get 1,000 subscribers off of these, I'll make more. And I did. And then I just kind of kept plodding away at it for years and years and years because I had nothing else going on. I was like, I am advancing sort of in my career as an editor, but I feel like I've hit the point where like, unless someone kind of plucks me out of obscurity, there's nowhere else to ascend to. I'm just gonna be making this rate that I'm making kind of forever when I can find work, if I can find work here and there. But the channel kept growing slowly, and so I just kind of kept plinking away at that. How long ago was this? We are coming up on the 10th anniversary of the show, so it was 2015. And I kept plinking away at it, and it was growing, but slowly, and it wasn't making any money. And in fact, for years after it was eligible for monetization, I refused to monetize it because I was like, who the fuck is gonna watch a commercial to watch one of my videos? Like, nobody's gonna do that. Actually, what's funny is when I turned on monetization, it actually kind of performed better, and we think that's a factor. And so eventually it became my full-time job. How did that happen? Well, we had to move to New Jersey. My wife worked in New Jersey, and I worked in the city, and so we lived on the Upper West Side because it was actually kind of like the locus of our 2 commutes. She went out to Jersey, and I would go to various parts of the city, and our commutes were about equal. Thing is she was a public servant. She was a librarian. And there's a law in New Jersey that says if you are a public servant, you have to live in New Jersey, and she wasn't. And her bosses knew, and it was fine, nobody cared. But I guess some elected official spotted her on a train and connected things together and reported her. And then it was like, well, you have like 2 weeks to decide if you're gonna keep your job or if you're gonna quit your job or if you're gonna move. And at the time, like, we had to move. We didn't have a choice. There was no option. So we moved to New Jersey, and I started commuting back to the city, and I was back to like a 2.5-hour commute. It was insane. Plus, like, remember, you may not know this, but post-production, it's assumed that your workday is 10 hours. 12 sometimes, you know? So it's like, I just didn't exist, you know? Like, it was insane. I just wasn't home. But our cost of living dropped dramatically, and it was in that period while I was commuting to the city from New Jersey with this ridiculous commute that the butterbeer video went out and kind of took off. And it was like, shit, man, maybe this could be something. And I did the job for a little longer after that. And finally I was like, you know what? There is no off-ramp. There's not going to be a point where one can painlessly step away from the lucrative job into the creative pursuit seamlessly. Because, and this is true, if you get to a point where this is making X and this is also making X in terms of revenue, well, you have figured out how to balance them both, and you're not going to want to give up 50% of your revenue. The reality is that to make this happen, you have to give this up. You can't do both at the same time, and that will incur pain. So, because our reduced cost of living out in the suburbs, I was able to take a 70% pay cut and decide to commit myself fully to How to Drink. And I was like, I'm gonna do this for a year. And I committed myself fully to it, and by the end of the year, I had recovered the 70%. But I was back to making the revenue. And so I was able to make it a full-time job. And then the pandemic happened. So, yeah, it was a full-time job for me way before the pandemic, by like more than a year, I think. So, it was a hobby. It was never a hobby. I want to point that out. It was never a hobby. It was always work. It was a piece of advice I had read a long time ago when I was just starting to freelance because I didn't know how to get work as an editor, was like, look, if you want to do this thing, this creative pursuit, and no one's hiring you to do it, hire yourself. Assume that you have that job and find a way to do that job 8 hours a day, every day, like it's your work day. That will work. That'll work. Someone's going to notice you, and then they're going to pay you for that job. And so that's what I was doing with How to Drink. I was like, look, man, I don't have any other opportunities. This is at least moving sort of in the right direction slowly. What is it going to lead to? Oh no, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? I don't know what's next, but something. So I just kept doing it like it was my job. But it was never a hobby. It was never a hobby. I don't have hobbies. I hate this about myself. I genuinely speaking do not have hobbies. So you have, yeah, exactly. You now have 1.8 million subscribers. If only my viewership was representative of that. Do you think because you had so many jobs in the past that enabled you to take the chance? So, okay, no. But what it did was freelancing. Freelance editing was the most stressful time of my life. Okay, so, all right, here's what happened. I did a video on this too. It's called The Best Cocktail I Think I've Ever Had in My Life or something like that. Or The Cocktail That Changed My Life. I had a permalance gig in the city at a small family-owned production company that I worked for like 3 years. And when you're permalance, it means you're a permanent freelancer. Now, I moonlighted for other clients here and there, but for the most part, I worked this one gig. And the deal is, look, Greg, I will hire you every day, but at a reduced rate. If you were a freelancer working from here to there to here to there, and I only needed to hire you for a week, you would demand a more rate, but you're going to get job security, sort of, at a pay cut. All right, fine. So you do that. A lot of people do that. And that's like not the worst position to be in. But if you're in a one-bedroom apartment on the Upper West Side and suddenly you have a daughter and you do the math on what childcare is going to cost you and you realize that you now have to rent essentially the financial equivalent of another one-bedroom apartment, and you do the math on what you're making at your gig and you go to them and say, listen, guys, I can't work here anymore unless you can pay me this. And they say, that's a 25% pay increase. And then you say, that's what I'll make when I'm freelancing. And they say, but nobody gets a 25% pay raise. Like, you know, you want to talk about 2%, 3%, we can talk about that. And then you say, but I'm not a fucking employee. I'm telling you, this is my rate. And if you don't afford it, I'm working for other clients. And so that's what happened. I went to work for other clients. My daughter was 12 weeks old and I had to tell my in-laws, I'm quitting my job, that I have no prospects. So I started freelancing and I just worked every contact I possibly had, emailing everybody I knew. You got a gig? Can I work for you? I'm a freelancer. Here's my work. I'm ready to edit. I'm looking for work. I am available. Hire me. Let's do lunch. Haven't talked to you since college. How you been, baby? Let me buy you lunch. Let's go out for coffee. Like that. Like that's who I became. And I worked, man. I had to work every fucking day of the month, basically, to make those ends meet. A lot of freelancers, you know, like a cinematographer I knew would like, well, I can make my bills in 8 days a month. If I work 8 days a month, my bills are paid. I never gave a shit how my parents feel about nothing, Zachary. Sorry, I just didn't give a shit. They were in no position to make any demands on me. So my wife's parents, slightly different situation, you know. As I stumble around here in my bar. So, I don't know where I lost my train of thought there. Yeah, so like I knew a cinematographer who was like, I gotta work 8 days a month and my bills are paid. Well, I had to work 21 days a month to pay my bills, which is a lot. That's a lot to book. That's a lot of days to book. Happily I did. I was very lucky that Meredith and I like reconnected at that point, and she was in a position to actually like put me forward for work, so that helped a lot. I worked a lot of other places too. So with Meredith, I worked at Imaginary Forces. I also worked at a place called Mustache a lot. I also worked at BBDO. I also worked at Hit the Bell, which is an artist collective that no longer exists, I guess. I worked a lot. I worked everywhere I could. And so I'm drinking melt water at the end of a Mai Tai. I'm drinking nothing. I'm just thirsty. So, yeah, I guess, I don't know. Is that an answer to the question? That's how I became a YouTuber? How I became a YouTuber. That's the story of my life. What rums went into my Mai Tai? That's a great question. Thank you for asking that. Half an ounce of shit. 1.5 ounces of Eldorado 12 and a half an ounce of this Kuleana. It's a Kuleana Agricole. Kuleana is a Hawaiian rum brand that sent me 3 bottles that I actually quite enjoy. I don't even know how to acquire more of them. They just sent them to me, but one of them, the 3, is an Agricole style and it works good there. Well, what we do isn't always what we thought we'd end up doing. I have a friend, I love him, but he had one vision for how his life was gonna go. He was gonna be this guy or nothing else. He's nothing else. I think that life is, you gotta be flexible, man. You gotta be totally flexible. And that's kind of like, Greg, can you roll back to around the time you were born? Just kidding. I have been to Smuggler's Cove on my honeymoon. I really wish I remembered that place better because I was jet lagged and drunk. So I apologize. My wife has great memories of it. I'm like, yeah, I don't. I wish the hell I could remember that. It is so good. It's so wonderful. What was your job in the Army? Well, my job was training. I was enlisted as an 11 Bravo infantry, unassigned airborne infantry. They tacked on there a 2 Charlie, which is a Javelineer. So I was supposed to be a Javelin infantry missile man who jumps out of airplanes. But I had a parachute accident on my 5th jump at airborne school, entanglement with another jumper, and it all fucked me up. So that was my MOS was 11 Bravo, Papa 2 Charlie. So. You've heard that story and it's scary. It was scary. Scary. It was scary. Nice, says Devin. Oh, well, thank you, April. You know what? There's been some super chats that I have missed because I've been talking for forever. Let's see here. My mouse is being funky. Okay. Wow, I missed a lot, guys. I'm so sorry. Nautical facts, learn how to make proper cocktails from you. Okay, Left Right's Eye, learned how to make proper cocktails from your channel since 2019. Well, thank you, Lefty. I know that you pitched in a couple other times here too. Connor Andrews. The New York Tac. Okay, no. Timbo, has Brennan asked you on an adventuring academy? He hasn't. He hasn't. I'm not in that circle, man. I'm just not. Brennan and I know each other from college. I can reach out to him and vice versa. But like, I'm not in the LA world. I'm not in that circle. I'm not a union actor. You know, like there's like a lot of things that I don't have going. I don't have an agent. Lefty's right eye. Love the show. Love Meredith. Love Midnight Local. Thank you, Lefty. Always. Thank you. Kratos, congrats on 10 years. Been watching since 2020. You're my favorite cocktail channel. Oh, well, thank you. I made you fall in love with making cocktails. And tiki, here's to another for however many years. Thank you so much. Very, very much. Been watching since before COVID. Never stopped materially. Never supported materially. So here's a little bit. Thank you very much, Jason Coates. You appreciate the content, perspective, and mine. Cheers. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. It is humbling. Devin O'Donnell, $20, nothing. You are, when I say $20 nothing, I mean you threw $20 and asked for nothing for it. So thank you, Devin. That's very generous. You are a geographic information systems analyst. I actually know somebody who used to work at the Geospatial Intelligence Agency. Decided to apply to art school because the US is shutting down their satellites. Yeah, it sucks, man. We're stupid. Do you have a favorite dairy-based cocktail? I'm just going to say White Russian because it's the top of mind. What? I just felt like tossing you some bones. Thank you, Devin. That's very nice. If you head to LA, there are plenty of tiki bars and secret bars. Do you intentionally muss up your hair for the drunk cam on episodes? I don't. Greg, I'm a permalancer right now, and your story just gave me a new hope. I've been feeling really stuck lately. I'm glad you shared that. I'm so glad that I gave you hope, man. I am so glad I gave you hope. Can I show you guys something? Hold on. You're going to have to wait for this. You're going to have to wait for this. This is going to be 1 minute. I'm just going to go get something. Hold on. I'm going to have to keep whispering to you. This was a thing that blew my mind a couple of weeks ago. Or actually just a week. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I'm walking around my house whispering. Okay. Thank you. I live to give people hope. I think everybody needs more hope than they have. I think nothing is as bad as it seems. I get comments from people. I don't care what your political persuasion is. If my politics offend you, you must have a really hard time out there. I have pretty mild politics, to be perfectly blunt. I didn't even know we had people in Syria shenanigans, but thank your husband. Okay, so I just genuinely had no idea. Of course we do, but I didn't know. So, scanning around, favorite dairy, okay. Hope. There's a lot of people in my comments are telling me, like, I feel like we're in 1933, yada, yada. I feel like this, I feel like that. They're doing this, they're doing that. And it's like, guys, man, I really wish you would read more about 1933. I think that you are being fomented, foisted, forced, pushed towards a level of panic. Like nothing, I promise you, nothing is ever as bad as it seems, and it still isn't. That's all I'm saying about that. However, you talk about hope. Here was an event that happened to me. I'm going to brag on myself just a little bit now. Just a little bit. Went to Chicago. I went to 3 Dots and a Dash, a place that I really, really wanted to go to for a long time. I finally got in there. My wife and I emailed them ahead of time and said, like, listen, I have a YouTube show. I made a reservation. I just want to know if I can film at the bar, yada, yada. And they didn't get back to me, which is fine. You know, just like went into a black hole. Walk in, said, hey guys, I brought my camera. Can I take pictures of my drinks? Can I make some little videos of my drinks? She said, oh, sure, as long as you don't bother people. Is it okay while it's dead in here if I get up and get some B-roll? No problem at all. Okay, cool, thank you. Order our drinks, have our poo-poo platter. We're wrapped, we're paying, we're on our way out. And then there's the bamboo room, which is like their other room. And it's like open, and I was like, oh shit, I'd love to just get some footage in here. And I kind of stick my head in, and there's like the 3 bar managers are in there talking about the schedule, and they say, come on in. I say, I will. And they're like, who are you? I tell them I have a YouTube show, make cocktails, yada, yada. Oh, you want to ask some questions? I was like, wow, I'm surprised you give me the time. You get 5 questions. I ended up not using those questions. I hit it up. This other guy, Tyler, and I started talking. He's the bar manager. And he was like, well, if you want to do like an interview or something, I was like, you're going to let me mic you up? He goes, yeah. I was like, ah. He's like, you come back later, we'll do that. And I was like, okay. Let's me and the wife go out for dinner, and hopefully I can get back in here. And he's like, okay. I'm thinking I got to drag her back here. Is she really going to want to come back? Thank God she did. We come back. He lets us in. I mic him up. We do an interview. This footage will be on the show at some point. There's like a bunch of questions and stuff like that that I went into. I'm not really entirely sure what I'm going to do with it. It might wind up in several episodes. Wrap up all of that. He says, you guys have a table waiting for you if you want. Very nice of them. We go back to our table, order a round of drinks, and then all of a sudden, Tyler comes running up to my table and holds out his phone and points it at me. He goes, is that you? I was like, well, yeah, that's me. He goes, you taught me how to bartend. I started watching your show when I was 19 years old, and the only reason I have this job is because of you. And then they gave me one of their mugs. He gave me one of his mugs and wrote me this note, which I'll show you now, rudely, on the box. Thank you for helping me find my confidence in my career. Keep inspiring people, Tyler McClellan. And I had a good cry about it at the table there. And, oh, wrong button. I got a little weepy about it at the table. He didn't recognize me is what happened. Like when he said, this is you? I didn't recognize you without the dress on. Also the suit. And also he lost a little weight. I was like, that's true. I'm trying to, although I'm back up right now. And then I'm like looking around the bar. I'm like, my God, dude, like look at how many, I'm sorry. This is like a thing for me. I was a little drunk too. I was very drunk. I was in a bit of a space. I'm like, look at how much joy, I don't know. In this room, that do I get a little responsibility for that? I think I do, I don't know. It was a cool moment for me. And I'm gonna actually have this goofy cardboard box framed at some point. I'm gonna put it up on my wall. So I hope as much as I can that I'm inspiring hope and that I am spreading good vibes and making things better. That's kind of what I want to do here. It's definitely a sign you're doing it right when someone who feels compelled to say thank you because of what you do, because of how it's made them whole and happier. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Casey thinks Chicago is the best city for cocktails beside New York City. Thank you. Thank you, Casey, very much. Adam White, from what I've heard of your politics, I love your politics and your Disney trips. Thank you, by the way, Adam, for both your comment and your cash. Casey, for your cash. Thank you for your cash. Wolf, you're what got me into mixing drinks proper and as a side effect had a very positive effect on my drinking habits. Thanks, Greg. Knock 50. That's not North Korean. I always think that. It's NOK is Norway, right? I think so. I think that catches us up with the super chats. Oh, the paintings. My wife thought they were cool. She bought them on Etsy. They're old, like, paint by numbers that people did in the 40s. And I stole them for the show. That's the story about them. And I've kept them ever since, so. Started watching many years ago. I'm the head bartender at a cocktail bar and loving every second of Mr. Dr. Danny. Thank you so much. That's wonderful to hear. Oh, man. Thank you. Thank you, Top Lel. I don't know if my cinematography is any good anymore, but it's nice. Would you ever open a bar? Not if I had to work in it, Casey. I would license my name to a bar and I would supervise the menu. And I might show up for events, but I am not gonna run a bar. Hell no. Nola Gale, I can't afford booze. Oh, why are you giving me 20 bucks? I wish I could push a button and give it back. Oh, you're a Patreon too. Thank you, Nola. Jesus Christ. When's the last time you shot that Rolleiflex? Actually, much more recently than you think. It was only a few weeks ago, but it went back up on the shelf and is going to remain a kind of an artifact for a while, I think. What is your opinion on Zdzislaw Bikunski? My opinion is that there are not enough vowels in that word. Advice for a guy starting a new family. Okay. All right. Okay. Do you know who you're starting it with? You got them picked out. You got that straightened out. Okay. Don't just go starting families with people at random. Figure that out first. Okay, no. 1, nothing is as hard as you think it is. 2, this is something I think about a lot, and I wanted to do a video on this, but like, you are way fucking tougher than you know. Like, you can handle so much more shit than you think you can, and the only reason you don't know that you can handle that shit is because you have not yet handled that shit. You will handle it. You're great at it. You're gonna be doing good at it. It's awesome. Don't listen to people who tell you, hope you like sleep. Well, there goes this, there goes that, blah, blah, blah. Because the reality is that, like, I don't really play TTRPGs anymore. I don't really have a lot of time for video games anymore, but it's not so much that I don't have time for those things. If I was like really insistent about it, I could make time for those things, I suppose. Could negotiate that with the wife and all that shit. But the reality is that I would feel like I was robbing that time from my kids because they were only gonna be 7 years old and 212 days one time in the entire cosmos. And I'm bad about being a dad as it is. So like, I don't need more fucking hobbies and distractions to take me away from that. So like, on the one hand, yeah, like a lot of stuff that you do now, you're not gonna do anymore. But I think on the other hand, you're probably not gonna miss it. At least in my case, that is. Like, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind being able to play D&D, but like, I'm not like, my life is a wreck because I can't play D&D. Actually, I'm more like, my life is a wreck because I'm not independently wealthy and I have to work for a living and I don't get to just spend all my time riding bikes with my kids. That's how I feel. If only I was a billionaire and then I could just be the world's greatest dad. So, so don't worry about that. I think that you and your partner will figure out the way to raise kids for you, the best way that works for you. Do not compare yourselves to other people who are doing that. Do not allow other people who are doing that to compare themselves to you. Fuck them! This is where like having a real hardcore independent streak can come in handy. If they ain't paying your bills, their opinion don't mean shit. Which is, to paraphrase, if I'm not mistaken, RuPaul. So you should see if Brendan will have you on D20 for, I mean, it feels presumptuous to ask, like, can I be on your show, Brennan, please? If Brendan wants me on a show, he can ask me anytime he wants. So I'm not gonna like force that on him. That feels shitty. I would love to. And I think I'd be good at it. It is scary, Connor. It is real scary. I'm gonna tell you the real God's honest truth. When I found out we were having a kid, I thought I had gotten a death sentence. I think I went through all the shit that you go through when like they tell you you have inoperable cancer. I took it very poorly. And I know that the story about like people who like flip on a dime when the kid is born, like it's bullshit, but it wasn't for me. It truly, I flipped on a dime. They put that kid in my hand and I became a completely different person. It did happen for me. And hopefully, I don't know if like our birthing doctor just like knew the exact like right moment to put a baby in my arms. But like it nailed it. It was perfect. So that's what I'm saying is that like, it's not a time to chicken out. And you can only be brave when you're scared. So you can do it, man. You can do it, man. You can do it. You can handle so much more shit than you think you can. It's such a terrible, fucking terrible way to relate to this story. But You ever seen Schindler's List? Great comedy. No, there's that scene when they're liquidating the ghetto and the one kid hides in the fucking outhouse, down in the shit soup at the bottom of the outhouse. And you watch that and you think, I can't believe, I don't think I could never do that. I could never do that. Yes, you could. Yes, you could. Life is like that. You will jump into the shit sewer without even a second question. You won't even think about it. It won't even matter. It's impossible right now until it's your only option, and then it'll just be fine. Okay, no problem. I'm down there swimming in poop. Done. It won't even pain you at that point. And that's what's gonna happen. And you can't, it's like a singularity. You can't, until you're in that place, you can't envision the person you will be who navigates that place. That person does not, he's a foreign country. That man that you must be does not yet exist, but you trust that you will become the man that you need to be when, or whatever. You will become that person when it's time to become them. And if you trust that, you will become that person. You know what having kids is like? Have you ever seen Suspiria? Okay, there's a lot of rats in the attic, but nobody's talking about it. Yes, you can, but there are people who love what you do. I don't know what that means, but thank you. I've seen a lot of Argento. My wife and I are really deep into the Italian horror movie thing. Greg said it, having a child is like swimming in sewage. Sometimes it's literally swimming in sewage. Wabogs. Been watching for a while, always a pleasure to see. I'm a fan of the theory crafting. Huh. So I have a book with about 40 cocktail ideas I've never tested. How many ideas do you think of on paper that never make it into a glass? Oh, that's a crazy idea. Crazy question. Some. I don't know, I don't keep track of that. I had an episode, I was gonna do severed cocktails, where it was like 2 cocktails together in one glass, and I played around with that and they sucked. So like there's an example of that. Very few never see it into a glass. Some don't make it into the show. I don't know, I never thought about that. That's a great question, but thank you so much for the $20. That's wonderful of you. I have not seen Aguiar, Wrath of God, although I have seen Fitzcarraldo. I'm still waiting for a Dubai chocolate cocktail. I don't know what that is. What are some canceled cocktails? I don't know. Not to go back to movies, but I haven't seen Sinners, no. Would you please elaborate on Nothing Is As Hard As You Think It Is? Elaborate on it? No. I won't. As a soonish to be dad, what is your favorite part of being a first-time parent? I don't know. Favorite part? It's more like, what the fuck was I doing before this? What was I doing? Why did I put this off? Why did I put off meeting this incredibly cool human that I didn't know I was waiting to meet? Why did I do that? What was I doing with all the time? I must have had a lot of time. Did I have so much time? How did I have that much time? I went to a lot of bars. I mean, I don't know, like, I think about like the uselessness of the time I had before. I don't know. That's a weird question. What is your favorite part of being a first-time parent? That's like more specific than being a parent. I wouldn't know how to quantify it. I don't know. Sorry. Observe, adapt, and overcome. There you go. You don't know what you don't know is how I'd explain it. Yeah, exactly. Modern problems require modern solutions. Yes. Have you seen The Exorcist? No, somebody asked me to elaborate on something, and I'm sorry. I said no, but I kind of wish I could. Shit, now I missed it. Damn it. Oh well. I am streaming, Robert. I like the part where you mentioned, well, I'm not the first person to say that. Everybody says that. That's like a thing. You can only be brave when you're scared. Does the statement no longer apply? If you've done the hard thing, you know how hard it was, or is it still not as hard as you think it was the first time? Oh, that's an interesting question. No, I think that's not. Well, I wouldn't. Oh, hold on a second. Nothing is as hard as you think it is? No. Here's what you're putting semantics here, but now you put words in my mouth. I said nothing is as bad as you think it is, and I said you can handle more than you think you can. I didn't say nothing is as hard as you think it is. Some things are harder than you think they are, but you can still do them. No, I'm not a bot or order or unorthodoxly. Oh, thank you, Lefty's Right Eye. Oh shit, it is 2:30 in the morning. I guess I gotta wrap it up. Greg, is everything easier than advertised? No. No. Most things are harder than advertised. I like Lemon Heart 151. Any cocktail that calls for an overproof or Demerara rum can call for Lemon Heart 151. I may have had Grand Classico, but I forget. I can't have another drink. Are you closing the bar per usual service industry at home at blank timeline? 3 or 4 a.m., I guess. "8:30 a.m. in Sebland." Quick question, if you're still taking them, what are some thrifty, inexpensive cocktail? Oh God, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a weird question. Are we playing Closing Time there now? That song is about having a baby. Did you know that? Closing Time. It's time to get out of the womb. That's what it is. It's time to get out. Well, thank you, Michael. It's been a great experience for me as well. Guys, I only did this once. I am obligated to tell everybody that YouTube revenue is bullshit. It didn't used to be, but it is now. And How to Drink only exists because of Patreon. It cannot exist without it. If you really love this show, I beg you, go take a look and see if there's anything over there that strikes your fancy. You'll get access to our private Discord, where you get a very candid version of Greg. You'll get access to the show without ads. You'll get access to extended episodes and behind-the-scenes looks and other goings-ons. You will get access to the HTD app, which is like the coolest thing I've done in a while. And I'll show it to you now. Let's go back to the front page here, please. Thank you. If you haven't seen this tonight on the stream, there it is. I made this, and you got drinks, episodes, or camera. You can go to drinks, and if I clear my filters, you can see every drink that the show's ever produced right here. If there's more versions, Trinidad Sour. If it's appeared on the show more than once, you can do that. I think that star means it's one of my favorites, actually. I think we put that in there. That's my preferred version, I should say. Back to drinks. You can search by media adapted from. Did I hit that right? I can't see from where I'm sitting here, guys. So like if I wanted a drink from Big Trouble in Little China, oh, no, I wanted, well, Batman the Animated Series is a thing too. And if I scroll down here, oh, I can't have both. That's the problem. What's going on here? Oh, because I'm in faves, that's why. So if I pick like Clash Royale or Cobra Kai, Cobra Kai should show up too, huh? Interesting. But there's the Cobra Kai episode I made, the Cobra Kai tale. I didn't remember naming it that. You can search by tags, you can search by ingredients, you can search by preparation method. It's every drink from the show. You can search by name as well. I'm a little sleepy and drunk, so I'm not navigating as smoothly as I should. Back to drinks. You can search, hold on. You get all the episodes you can search by. If you go to an episode, this episode does not actually have any drinks in it because it's the wrong kind of an episode. But if you go to Cold War Cocktails, you'll see that these other drinks are in there, and then you can click to that, and then there's the drink. You can cake a drink and put it in your keeper. Is this still on camera? Yes. And then if you go back to drinks and you select faves, mine is getting clogged. All of the drinks that are, you know, your preferred favorites are stored in here. Like my 6 versions of the Mai Tai. Swipe, 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 swipe. Right. There's the favorited one. You can also use the camera to take a picture of your hand, to take a picture of some ingredients, such as this bottle of rum and this lime. This is a proof of concept at this point. I'm still working on what comes next with this, which I'll explain in a minute. And this is a very limited picture, but normally I put more ingredients in there. Let's see what we even get. Use that photo. I don't know why that use photo button didn't work today. Like I said, proof of concept. Oh, there it goes. It's working. With Hamilton rum, pineapple juice, and lime, you can make some classic rum cocktails like a Mai Tai or a daiquiri. Mostly a daiquiri. And the goal with that is actually not that, although that's not the most useless thing. That is pretty useful if you walk into a party and want to take a picture of the bar cart and don't know what you can make. What the goal there is for you to use that to populate a user inventory of their bottles, which is like the next thing I'm working on the app. So now that we have the thing work, the next part is just building the user model so that it will have an inventory system, which I don't think is going to be that hard. So that's htdapp.com, which is web-based and platform agnostic, and you get access to it by being a member of my Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/howtodrink if you want to sign up for that. If there's nothing over there that strikes your fancy, let me know what it would take. I would be very curious to know what I'm missing. So thank you guys so much, and thank you for making the show possible and making the show worthwhile. You know, I get little boxes like this sometimes that say, thank you for helping me find my confidence in my career, keep inspiring people, Tyler McClellan, and it really does make it all worthwhile. It kind of blows my mind. I don't know how to, you know, it's hard. It's really weird and hard to have to have that kind of like gushing praise heaped on you in a public environment and do so graciously. You know what I mean? Like, it's humbling. I don't, you know, it's difficult. It's weird. I don't know how to handle that. I'm bad at handling that. All I can do is say thank you. I'm incredibly honored to be even a positive part of so many strangers' lives. And I will see you in the Discord. Yeah, Ingredient Assistant is literally proof of concept right now. Right now, I just want to make sure that it's not too expensive to run, but I think it's fine so far, and that people aren't spamming it and abusing it and stuff like that, because like every query there does cost us a tiny amount of money. But But I think that's fine, and now that that's working, I can fine-tune it and upgrade it and expand it to do some other things. It is hard to accept praise, yeah. But is there any more? Did I miss any more? Oh, no, I haven't missed any more super chats. It does seem like we're winding down a little bit. Guys, I think I should go to bed. I still have a face that's been hit by a hammer. Sorry, a wrench, and it hurts. And I gotta get up. Actually, it's great. You know what's funny to me? So many parents, and I get it, it's because I work from home and my wife doesn't work, and we're extremely fortunate in this way. But like so many people are like, school year's over, kids are all gonna be around. I fucking hate the school year because we all have to wake up and it's miserable, and then all of a sudden my schedule is on somebody else's clock, and I have organized my entire life to be at the beck and call of nobody and have some fucking principal nerd tell me what I'm allowed to do. I hate it. I can't stand it. And so like now that the summer is here, it's just like, this is great, man. This is what life is all about. I love having my kids around. I love working and having them interrupt me while I'm at work and say, Dad, you got to look at this thing I did. And I have to take a break and go look at it. It's amazing. It's the best thing in the world. I wish to hell I could just keep my kids around me forever. I tell them when they grow up, they're not going to move away because I'm going to move right with them. I'm going to follow you. I'll go where you're going. You're going to just stay right here on the compound when I can afford a compound. I don't have a compound yet. I think we're all going to need compounds. No. I hate ending a stream. I'm like Uncle, what's his name, in Mary Poppins. I love to laugh. Oh, I hate to see people go. Still reiterate with my kids that they're back in school in a month. So you're down south because you guys go back in like August, which is, we don't go back till September up here. It's not goodbye. It's till next time. There you go. That's beautiful. Anyway, this has been actually a really great stream for me and for you, and it's been great for you. Hasn't this been great for you? Oh wow, you guys do year-round sometimes in Texas? That's crazy. You don't take no wooden nickels. I have to wake up at 7 a.m., but I don't want to sleep. That's how I feel too. I hate sleep. I mean, I love sleep, but I kind of hate going to sleep. You're the coolest creator on this platform. No, I'm not. That's so nice of you. Thank you. Greg, you may have missed it, but you said earlier how you didn't know how you'd work your past jobs into a show. I said you should make drinks after your past job. Yeah, maybe. It's an idea. All right, I really do have to end it here, guys. This has been wonderful. Thank you all so very, very much. You guys are extremely generous, so I don't need to remind any of you to tip your waiter. I hope you all are having the most wonderful of times. I hope that you are overcoming all of the obstacles in your life, and that the goofiest fucking music in the universe is playing right now. It's so corny, 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 corny. Yes, please exit through the gift shop. Guys, thank you so much. Good night. I love you, and I will see you soon with another episode of HTD, hopefully on Friday. I did this to break myself of some writer's block. Hopefully we did that. Good night.